And we're live. Man, my hair is looking a little crazy here. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. The last Wednesday. It is the last day of July, which is crazy. It's almost August. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm still, so for anyone that didn't know, I took off last Thursday, flew back home to California, which I haven't been to since we moved 2 years ago, and I stayed with my buddy and hung out with a couple of buddies through Monday. So I feel like I'm still getting over the long late nights. I think I got in Thursday around 11 o'clock California time, which would have been midnight here, and I think we turned out the lights at like 3:30 there, which would have been 4:30 here. So it's older, like before Jackson and like years ago, I stayed up ridiculously late all the time working on stuff, but the new me goes to bed usually around like 11:30 or midnight, so I feel like I'm still recovering from the late nights, but it was a ton of fun. Who's all here today? Let's see, G's here, Delmar's here, that guy Maker Vikings in the house, how you doing? Lisa's here, Eric's here, good afternoon, and greetings from Ohio. How's it going? PF's in the house, AW, William, let's see, 1060, Petty Rex. You sound like you had yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Hey BBs, I don't drink that often anymore, but this weekend was the exception. my friend said no, when in Rome. So it was a good time, but I'm happy to be back and back to all the projects that I put on hold for the weekend. But honestly, I haven't taken an actual weekend off of work or just taken a weekend off from not doing video stuff in, I don't know, I mean, maybe moving was probably the last time, but that wasn't vacation, you know, that was just moving a bunch of stuff. So it was nice to take a few days off. I don't sleep, nice. Logan's here, welcome Logan. Who needs sleep? Like what? Yeah, it did. So I did not match my friends. I said, you guys go this round, I'll get the next. Like so that was smart. I'm glad I didn't try to match them. And I also was really on top of having lots of water in between. So it wasn't as bad. Like I adulted at the situation. So there was at least that. Are you all watching for flying fish? Greetings, are you all watching for flying fish? I don't know what that's in regards to. Hey Man of the Croc, thank you very much for 5 months. Let's do air horn. So, for anyone that doesn't know what this is the FLSUN S1. It's been out, I mean, this thing was released now, pre-orders like 6 months ago. It's been a while. And then like regular release, I think was like 3 months ago. I've had this thing for a long time. I've had it for a very long time. And the reason it didn't get a lot of love initially was, for some reason, there was quite a few printer releases around the same time, which seems to always be the case. And so I always try to review first in, first out, so that way it's just fair. And this happened to come in after a few other printers came in, so it's sat. I think the SV08 was one of them. The Ender 3, not V3, Ender 3 V3 SE was one of them. So it kind of sat. And then I set it up. I went through the initial calibration stuff and ran a few of there's like pre-sliced files. So let me see here. I ran a bunch of fast benchies just to show. I showed my parents, I showed my brother, I showed someone else. Ran a bunch of these the pre-sliced little benchy files that come on there that are really fast. And then they have a few other sliced models like this little lighthouse. So I did a little bit of printing. However, during this time, oh, you know what? I did print a few other things. I printed out an ABS part for the Voron 2.4. It's actually in there. And then I think I tried another thing, but I ran into a couple of issues. The main two was the first layer Z offset was too close when printing with ABS, and the screen only lets you adjust up or down in Z like I want to say it was like 0.03. I can check, I guess, before we update it, but really small amounts. So even when I raised the nozzle or the tool head as far as I could away, it was still too close. The other issue I ran into, which doesn't seem like you can't see it in the test prints, which I think is because it's probably yeah, it's because it's white, I'm sure that's why, is that there is artifacts. There are artifacts with it. Did Nero? I don't know if you just, that was weird. So Nero, you like popped up at the top, but it was all white. So I don't know if that was like a glitch or a super chat or something, but I couldn't see. That was really odd. Let me look. Stream elements. So the other thing was artifacting. Yeah, he did. Okay, that's weird. It didn't show up on my end. It just showed like a blank white box. Let me see if I can see it in stream elements. Windows do not update right now. Pretty please. Weird. I don't see it. I don't see it. It doesn't show it on here either. So I don't know what you said. Raid from members. Oh, cool. Thank you, buddy. We'll get Hadouken and we'll do a cheers. So the other thing that I noticed, which I didn't with the white prints, was artifacts, and not artifacts like ringing, artifacts like VFAs, like really aggressive VFAs. And I asked them about it, and they said to run input shaping. And it was not a matter of, I wish I could show you guys. It's inside of the 2.4, so I can't show it. But basically just crazy artifacts, like uniform artifacts, almost like salmon skin. For anyone that's familiar with like the older drivers that would produce salmon skin, it was almost like that. And I think that it has something to do with the closed loop steppers that are inside this thing. So what I am getting at is that because of the issues I initially ran into, some of the weird firmware stuff, and on top of that, Nero played around with his right away on stream quite a bit, and I'm also in a Discord server with a few other people that have been testing this out. There was just a ton of issues with this thing. Most all of it seemed to be on the firmware side of things, so I have been optimistic that we will get to a better place. Some of them are not, like they were advertising really ridiculous flow rates. I think of like 100 cubic millimeters. I mean, it's probably still on there. Let's see what it says on their product page. Oops. They actually just sent me some G code to look at that is supposed to be from one of their tests that they did. Yeah, max flow rate 110 cubic millimeters a second, which is absolutely insane. I don't even think that Tube can even hit 110 cubic millimeters a second. I could be wrong. Let's see. I'm just Luke's lab. So here's the Tube. I don't know. They actually. I don't think he has a. So it'd be the conduction would be more because it would have a larger heat break. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even put claims as to what it can hit. So I don't think I'll be able to do a one-to-one comparison, but I'm pretty sure, I want to say 70 or 80 cubic millimeters a second is roughly what I'd heard or seen most people were kind of pushing it, running it at. So yeah, it's an absolutely crazy claim. And on top of that, if you're going to be able to hit that, you're going to have some serious melting power. And this is what the hot end is that comes inside of it. So, I mean, it's not a bad looking hot end. It has, from what I can tell, like, you know, your ceramic heater ring around this whole thing, and it's pretty long. And then it looks like they have sort of the additional like nozzle extender set up on here, which does help. I think it's similar to what, oh gosh, isn't that similar to what's on the Fadus Rapido? I'm pretty sure there's an option for that. And then I believe, I haven't taken this apart, but I think Nero did, and I'm pretty sure it's like a CHT clone. So there are at least things in here that would help it achieve a higher melting, you know, or more melts, what am I saying? Flow rate, jeez, a higher flow rate than, you know, a lot of standard hot ends and nozzle setups, but 110 cubic millimeters a second is ridiculous. So in FLSUN's defense, there's a lot of companies that are throwing out numbers that don't really mean much of anything, or absolutely insane claims. But I think the reason why FLSUN is getting called out more on this is just the extent of the craziness. Like, if they had said, you know, 65 and somehow their hot end was hitting like 52, but like 110 is insane. Like, that is such a crazy claim. So I think that's probably a big reason why, you know, they're getting called out on it, is because it's just such a ridiculous number. So let's see. Booty says depends on the nozzle. I did run 80 cubic millimeters. Oh, you're saying I did run 80 cubic millimeters. You're talking about tube though, right, Booty? You're not talking about the FLSUN. Hey Liz, I just took the PEI plate off of my print bed to get the print off and then start a new print. Oh no, I've done that before on the bamboo, one of the bamboo printers. So let's go ahead and plug this in. What is this that's down here? I don't know. This is a big power supply. Oh, this is from the positron, the build. I have not done anything with a positron since last week. I do need to start printing out MMU3 parts in ABS or ASA. I did end up ordering, finally, some cookie CAD filament. I originally wanted to get the ABS at Rocky Mountain, but they didn't have any left by the time I saw it. So I saw that KB3D had gotten them in, and I sort of like spontaneously ordered them in that moment. But I got their Unicorn ABS as well as their Dark Magic. So I'm going to use the Unicorn ABS for the LDO positron build. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll hopefully get started at printing those parts out in the next week here, because the game plan is MMU3 build, and then we'll do the LDO positron. Okay, so this is turned on. Let's quickly go ahead and just get the update going. So, oops, wrong. Here we go. Tube air, the conduction should have a bit, yeah. I was gonna say the conduction can take a super volcano heater cartridge, right? Okay, so there we go. So I'm on version 1.0.1.2. Unable to get version information. What? What? What do you mean unable to get? Well, they told me to update it. But it doesn't seem like it's going to let me update through here. Okay, so maybe we will be updating. Can I do it locally? Oh, jeez. Let me see what they said. They said, here's the FLSUN update instructions. Online upgrade is available. Okay. It doesn't look like they provided me with a bin or zip file. Man. So I was trying, is it connected to Wi-Fi? It should be. Let me check. It definitely was before. Settings, LAN. Yeah, it shows that it's connected. That worked. It showed it was connected, but I had to click on it again. So anyways, thank you. That I don't want to deal with. I couldn't figure out on their website right now, if you go to downloads under S1, at least on my browser, it's not loading anything. So let's try to update. Firmware upgrade in process. Cool. So the things that this update is supposed to change, they sent me this little, I asked for the change log. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Also, my freaking nose today, man. Is there a tissue over here? What did I do with the tissue? My buddy that I stayed over at his house, they have 4 dogs and 2 cats. So I love them, but it did not do wonders for my allergies. There's the tissue. I'm gonna mute it really quick so that way there's no aggressive elephant noises. All right. Hey, Micah. Checked on the printer. Wait, checked on the printers, forgetting that the only ones going are my A1 Mini and Ender 3 V3 SE. What did I miss? Unicorn. Yeah, Unicorn Positron. Exactly. Okay, so here's the things that supposedly were updated. Optimize time-lapse photography function and fix the issue of generating time-lapses abnormally. I don't think I've done anything with time-lapses on this, if I'm not mistaken. I think there might be time-lapses on it from the test prints I did, but I'm not positive. I've only ran like a few test prints, but so we'll see about that. Improve the heated bed leveling function and increase the Z offset value. So that's the thing I was talking about, was that for ABS, the 0.03 or whatever they gave you to adjust up or down was not enough of a range. So I'm not necessarily against them having some kind of limit on your Z offset bumping, because I have personally myself, and I know others have, like clicked too quickly, and then all of a sudden your nozzle, by the time it actually updates, is dragging in and it destroys your build plate right away. So I don't hate them having some kind of lock, but the range either has to be much bigger to at least give you the option for those that want to, or there needs to be some kind of setting that you can adjust on the screen that basically removes those sort of handcuffs or training wheels, if you will. So they've supposedly increased that range, so hopefully for ABS or to just materials where you're printing warmer, you can bump the offset. Enhanced vibration compensation, optimized AI features. I've not played around with any of the AI stuff. I think by default it was on, and I do believe after the first layer, excuse me, I saw it like take photos or scan, but I don't remember it actually ever giving me any sort of feedback. So I'm going to be doing a video on some of the like add-on clipper stuff, which I've done before for, you know, failure detection, which some will call AI, because I guess it is based off of like a sample size of machine learning. But I'm not a big fan of all these companies claiming I have the stream muted since I'm in a meeting. Can you do sign language? Yes. Yes. I don't know. I know food. I can do food. Wait. What is it? More. Nope. More is more. Food. That's the only one we do. A little bit with Jackson. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this whole AI thing that seems to be just the marketing buzzword that they're throwing on everything, all these different companies. I like the idea of some kind of failure detection if it actually works, but for a lot of things I've seen, it's just very buggy, doesn't actually work, and it's just a marketing thing. So, yeah, what else do we have here? Enhanced power failure, improved filament runout, Wi-Fi speeds, that's nice. Optimize the startup wizard logic, cool. Because the startup wizard initially was crazy long on this. I can't remember exactly, but I want to say 10 to 15 minutes roughly, which is pretty dang long. Printer auto shutdown, fix the issue with the cooling fan didn't turn off, resolve the issue at a camera might not recognize when plugged in or not, fix the problem where prints can fail with the file name. Oh, that's right. There was an issue with naming conventions in the print files, which that was a thing a long time ago with Marlin. Like certain Marlin firmwares, I think it was Creality is the main company I had issues with, was if you had if you had any spaces in your file name, it wouldn't show up on the SD card. That was an issue for a while. Resolve the issues of incomplete displays. So, I mean, good stuff, but how well will it work? We'll see. Is it still doing it? Please recalibrate the bed leveling and vibration compensation. Cool, we can do that. So let's just go through. Can we just redo? I kind of would just want to redo the about restore factory settings. I kind of just want to start over. Also, one of my lights doesn't work. This you can't see that, but there are two lights. You've got one light right here, which you can see bouncing off my hand, and there's one on this side, and this one has never worked. They told me to try to remove it and check the plug, which we can definitely do, but I don't know if I want to. Let me see. Do I have? Oops. Let's see. We do talk about a lot of yeah. A1 Mini is plugging away, and so is the V400. GD is being a brat. I really want AI is just a buzzword that they have to bolt onto everything at the moment. Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, I'm not against AI stuff. Like, I play around with ChatGPT for things, and so I'm not against AI, but I'm against the way it's being used in 3D printing. It's just, I don't know. It's overdone. Oh, shit. This is gonna be a little tight. Well, I might be waiting to remove this until I can actually home this thing. My Doran kit will be here next week. Nice. Okay, let's go through setup. I think we're building one too. Let me lower this a little bit. FISEC reached out to me like a month ago, and I've been really slow to respond, but I think the last thing I saw was they're just gonna send a kit. Because I basically couldn't, I told them, like, as far as time frame goes, I was like, I don't know when I'll build this thing. Like, I've got an MMU3, the positron, and a few other things that we're building, so. Okay, start. Well, I don't want you guys to see my passwords. I'm gonna move you guys here. Look at the filament wall for a second. Boop. There we go. Also, on the boron delta, 1 second here. They came out with a revision for it already, right? I'm pretty sure I saw like a 1.2 or something like that. Wow, they really, Sweeham, 13 months, putting the last few parts from ahead of mommy. Nice. Thank you very much. Let me just make sure we're in focus here. Thank you for the 13 months. Let me go around and get some sound effects for you. What, are you doing the larger ones? The larger headphones? The Doran Volta, yeah, exactly. There's a new direct drive version of the Doran Suite, plus some tweaked parts. Are you gonna update your zombie, or no, you're happy with where it's at? I can agree with that, Troy. If you have a really solid machine and you've got, you know, profiles dialed in, really consistent printing, everyone's just stoked on it, and you want to invest some additional resources into creating some add-on AI feature thing that, you know, adds quality of life to the printer or whatever, then sure, but don't do it. Like, right now, they still have their own, like, skin slicer, and I've been asking for Orca slicer profiles for a while, and they've just provided me, if I remember correctly, with a PLA profile, and I'm like, man, that should be way up there, is having, like, as a bare minimum in this day and age, printers should be shipping with PLA, ABS, and PETG, and probably TPU profiles, as a bare minimum. And I could be happy with that. Would I like more? Sure, but can I be happy with that? Absolutely. But to ship just a PLA profile, like, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so they completely changed the startup. The startup now basically just has you choose a language and you connect to a network if you want to, and that's it. Before, it was like requiring you to do bed leveling, input shaping, and all that. So the downside of that is some people are probably not going to do that. So let me think. I think it's under here, calibration. So yeah, so we need to do just all the things: motor cal, bed leveling, accuracy calibration, vibration compensation, and flow calibration. Cool. 28 minutes. Fantastic. So yeah, this is what it used to do when you turned it on just by default, was run through this. That is a ridiculously long time. Also, there we go. Just PLA profile is a crime, and reskin slicer. Yeah, I don't understand it. And you just swap to hoods, otherwise it's good. Okay. Well, let me back this out a little bit. I just don't understand how they don't, unless they have but I don't think they have a profile in Orca slicer still, like built in. About the same as a full bamboo calibration. I don't feel like Bamboo's was that long. I mean, it's been a while since I've done a full calibration on a Bamboo Lab printer, but I don't remember it being more than like 10 or so minutes, give or take. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense. For what Aaron's saying, why would you pull in outside air in a enclosed printer? So this doesn't use layer cooling fans. It has an off fan for the heatsink, but it uses like a CPAP that's up here, and then it goes through a tube to the top of the tool head, which is one, incredibly loud. We'll end up lowering it because at 100% it's like screaming. But they have it set up where the air it's pulling is from outside of the machine, which is only okay for PLA. For every other material, like if you're printing with ABS, you would want to be circulating the internal air. And honestly, PLA doesn't need it either. PLA just needs a lot of air. It's fine if it's the internal air. So like for example, on the VZBot, the VZBot also uses a CPAP. However, the VZBot is pulling the air that's then going through that CPAP directly from inside the chamber. So it's the exact same temperature as the environment that the print is being, the print's being printed in. So it doesn't make sense. Hey Dutch, we just updated to the latest firmware on this thing. Bamboo's about the same, okay. The reskin slicers is just obnoxious. I've asked, I don't remember what company it was. I don't know if it was, who the heck was it? Was it Creality maybe? There was one company I asked, like, hey, you know, why is it that you guys are basically wasting your time on making a slicer when there are fantastic slicers out there? Like, why are you reskinning and making tweaks to the slicer when you don't need to do this? And it was something, a lot of it sounded like it was coming from upstairs, and it was this sort of obsession almost with having a full ecosystem, which is dumb. It's dumb. I don't. I can see someone that, let's say, okay, all right, I'm trying to think here. If you have somebody that has never 3D printed before and gets a slicer like Orca slicer, I could see it being kind of confusing having all the different printers in there. However, it's such a lame excuse because you only activate the printer that you have, or, you know, printers that you have, and then the rest of them go away. So I don't know. I don't think they have any real justification. It just doesn't make sense. It's more confusing. They don't update it, so it ends up being on an older version of whatever's skinned, you know, because they're all skinned. Like, to actually develop a slicer from the ground up would take forever. So they just skin, make a few small tweaks, and then they usually just leave it like that. Or if they do update it, it's always trailing behind whatever, you know, whatever slicer it's based off of. That was Creality's train of thought. Yeah, maybe it was Creality that I had that conversation with. It's been a long time, but I remember, I mean, skin slicers have been a thing for a long time. Like, I know that, like, with Ultimaker's Cura, which is what everybody was initially doing, like Lulzbot had a version. Lulzbot, the thing that Lulzbot had built into theirs was like a flashing utility, which was kind of cool because Lulzbot has different tool heads and you had to change the firmware based off of what tool head you had on it. But I'm sure they could have still just added it as a plugin to standard Cura. But everyone was pretty much skinning Cura. So it's always kind of been a thing. I do remember early on some of the companies, like, because my first printer was the DaVinci 1.0, and XYZ did have their own slicer called XYZ Wear, I believe, and that was awful. That was absolutely an awful piece of software. But the free software, the free slicers are so damn good now. Like, why wouldn't you just put a little bit of money to support the developer of that, get your profiles in there, and then worry about the thing that you need to worry about, which is that your hardware and your firmware is performing well. Just got an email from support telling me that they have a breakthrough with the artifacts. We'll see. Hey, Dutch, can you ask support if they have disabled SSH? Nero just popped in here saying that with this latest update that you can't actually SSH into the printer anymore. They wanted to do what Bamboo did. Yeah, but that's the exception and not the rule. A lot of these companies have been around for a lot longer, and it's like, if you guys haven't done it at this point, you know, I don't know. I would like tabs. I would like tabs in Orca as well. Tabs would be very cool. I think all printers should come with at least an Orca per profile that's been exported from the actual software. Yep, I agree. The max you can print is 45. Wait, the max you can print is 45 VFR. Otherwise, it looks like a Neptune printer. Are you talking about on this specific printer? So even if the slicer doesn't have the profile by default, you can add it on your own. Where Bamboo did it correctly is that they added AMS support. They actually added new functionality. I've always been a fan of Cura, and now I am using Orca. Yeah, I was a Cura fan. So I went from like XYZware to Repetier Host, and I used Repetier Host for like 3 years, but Repetier Host was more of like a controller slash interface. On the back end, it was using Cura Engine or Slick3R's actual slicing algorithm. And so I used that for probably like 3 years. And then when I got hired at Matter Hackers, I was still using Repetier Host. And I remember someone was like, why are you still using that? And so I saw a lot of people are using Cura, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about Cura. But then I finally started to play around with it. It was like, okay, I do like this. I like the UI. I thought it was much cleaner, and they were doing a lot of development on it. So I ended up switching over to Cura, and then I stuck with Cura for a really long time. Like I think I stuck with Cura for I stuck with Cura probably up until Bamboo Lab released their Bamboo Studio. I dabbled with Prusa Slicer and Slick3R a little bit, especially once I got into Clipper stuff, because Cura and Clipper, I just didn't like the experience, and it seemed like most people were using Slick3R, or not Slick3R, Super Slicer, sorry. So I used Super Slicer a bit, but yeah, and then I jumped over to Bamboo Studio, which I really liked, and then once Orca Slicer came out, which was shortly after, really, it wasn't that long after that, Orca Slicer, which was initially just exactly the same as Bamboo Studio, pretty much, with the exception of it had a few Voron printers. But yeah, once that came out, I fairly quickly jumped ship to that, and I have no regrets. Orca Slicer's been freaking awesome. Yo, what's up, Frosty Fish? They have never released SSH info. Really? I haven't tried to SSH in, so I thought that interesting. You know what? Maybe that's right. Maybe that's right, because maybe I think they had said that the plan was eventually to release SSH, where they want to dial other things in. I'm curious if I have. I'm gonna really quickly here see if I actually asked the question. Let's see, FLSUN SSH. Maybe I didn't ask. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so on June 2nd, I asked, also, since this is running Clipper, what is the status of SSH and root access? And they said, in addition, regarding SSH, since the machine has just been shipped, in order to ensure the stability of the machine, it is currently not available for a short period of time. However, it will be available in the future, and I will let you know if I have it in use. Okay, so I guess I was aware it didn't have SSH access, but must have forgotten. That was approximately 60 days ago that I got that info. Also, I'm going to remind, if you have not hit the like button, smack the like button for 20. If you like 30-minute calibration startups, smack the like button. Orca, yeah, Orca's Bay. Cura was too hard to set up for me. I love Orca. It's just Prusa Slicer but better. Cura's W, the latest update, broke updating through the front USB port. They want to break the exploit that people used to get. Oh, it was an exploit to get an SSH. Gotcha. Yeah, I have not been keeping up with it really. I mean, I was pretty heavily for the first month. Yes, S1 caps out at 45. Gotcha. 45 cubic millimeter second volumetric flow with a 0.4, and it matches Bamboo X1C. That is really loud. Quick question, what temp do you use for heat set inserts on your soldering iron? Ooh, that's a good question. I run it pretty damn hot. So currently it's on, I can tell you, let me just, oh, you know what? I don't actually have, shit. I packed down my, I wonder if I can power it on still. I might not be able to tell you right now. I don't have a, you know what, actually, this might work. I took my power supply for this when I went to California. Yeah, this will not work. It doesn't put enough juice out. I don't know right now, sorry. If you remind me on next week's stream, I'll have my charger back up here, my power supply, but I can't actually power this on. I know that I'm using it hotter than I used to because for the, what are we doing? Okay, we're extruding some filament, it looks like. For the positron build, I printed it in a glass-filled ASA or ABS, and it had a high temp that was required for me to get the heat inserts in. So I think I'm using it a little bit hotter than normal, but I want to say it's close to 400 Celsius if I had to guess offhand. But I think prior to me upping it to 400 Celsius, I'm pretty sure I was using it at more like 350, 360 was about what I was using. I was using Super Slicer for quite a while. Yeah, a lot of people really like Super Slicer. I know Super Slicer is getting updates again. I haven't looked at it since development started. Back up. Was Super Slicer the first to support Clipper? I believe so. Don't quote me on it, but I'm almost positive it was. I use all of them all the time. I'm literally using Orca and Bamboo and Cura right now. Nice. I've been using Prusa Slicer specifically with the Mark IV. When I printed out all these brackets for the filament racks, I printed out all those parts on the Mark IV, and it was easy to use their built-in strength profile. So I mean, I don't not occasionally dabble with other slicers, but I prefer not to. I really don't enjoy using a bunch of different slicers. It's fine for the sake of like making videos because I know that there are still a lot of people using a lot of different slicers, so I don't mind covering it and keeping up to date on them. But for my own like personal use, when I'm doing printing projects and stuff, I don't like jumping around to different slicers. It's confusing. You get so familiar where things are and how they're supposed to function that it becomes a mess juggling through a bunch. I mean, maybe it's different for you because you're so used to using so many all the different times. I hit the like button, but not for 30-minute calibrations. It's fairly easy to crack if we won't. Pressure advance is fixed now. If you set your PA above 0.002, the machine will use whatever your value used. If not, it'll use the machine value. Nice, that's good to know. Is someone hoovering? What? I use the melting temp of the filament you're pressing into. I go well above the melting temp of the filament I'm pressing into. Yeah, so Choi says I think mine is about 250 to 300C. Like for ABS, I definitely don't go below 300C. 245 is for PTG, 255 for ABS. Hey GPs, evening all. Just been watching the Olympics. I was surprised because Erin's family has been out here. Her mom and dad flew back yesterday, and her sister flies out today. But I figured they would have been watching some of the Olympics, but when I came back, they said they hadn't watched any of it. We watched a bit of it at my buddy's house. I watched, loud. We watched synchronized diving, volleyball, a little bit of skateboarding, women's skateboarding, which is sick. I used to skateboard a lot, and it's crazy. It's crazy cool. Like, for the women's skateboarding, a lot of them were like 13 or 14 and just absolutely shredding. I didn't even know the Olympics, because I didn't, like previous years, I haven't watched a ton of it, but this is the first year I watched a bit. I had no idea that you could even compete as, you know, not being 18 years old. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching some of the street skateboarding. One thing I'm curious about is how accurate or inaccurate this thing is now. I know at least one of the guys that has been testing this out was saying that it's not very accurate in terms of dimensional accuracy. So I'm curious if we printed out like a 20 mil by 20 millimeter cube, what it's like in XYZ. I'm also curious as to how accurate it would be if we print something cylindrical. Thanks for the input, everyone. Much appreciated. Yeah, good luck, Frosty. Too hot and it'll burn the filament, then it won't flow into the heat set groove properly. I feel like I've been fine. I've done quite a few and I've been fine at 300C, but I mean, I guess if you start with a lower temperature and it's just not going in, then you could bump it. So it's probably not an awful idea to start slightly lower, and then if you're like, okay, this either isn't working or, you know, it's like just too slow and requiring force, because it shouldn't require very much force. When it's heated up correctly, it should be kind of a smooth push in. So yeah, maybe start a little bit lower and then work your way up, versus the opposite, starting really hot and potentially melting apart. You know, that's probably not a bad idea. I might not be using the right term, but what is the volumetric setting for the Bamboo hot end? I have seen 12 to 17. That's a great question. Well, one, it depends on the filament you're using. ABS or ASA is going to have a higher volumetric flow than PLA. It also depends on how hot you're printing, because you can push more out of a hot end by printing at higher temps, which is sort of the standard now. Like, a lot of the higher flow printers are printing at a temperature that would have been considered way too hot previously. Like, a lot of people used to print PLA at like 195 or even 200, while some of these newer printers are printing it at like 230, 240. So the answer is I'm not entirely sure. I did do some testing before with the stock hot end. I did the stock versus E3D's high flow. And so I've done the testing. I just don't remember. I wonder if I've got my, one second here. I usually record in my like video project script for each video. I usually keep a chart of any data I pull. So let me see if I go Bamboo, E3D, nope, E3D, there we go. So I got, it shows here that with the stock 0.4, I was able to hit 21 cubic millimeters a second. And with the high flow 0.4, I was able to hit 32. And with ABS, I hit 22 cubic millimeters a second. And with the high flow, I hit 34. I didn't keep good notes on this, so I can't tell you what temperatures that was at or the specific filament. I'm sure it's in the video. Well, that's at least the numbers that I have right here, which is actually higher than I thought. I think most people are getting closer to 18 cubic millimeters a second with PLA, but 21 was what I got with whatever I used for that video. Bamboo caps out at 21 to 24. Okay, so that sounds about right, what I got then. So I got 21 for PLA and 22 for ABS. So E3Ds definitely gives you a sweet bump. The fans are really noisy. You probably don't have... Oh, shoot, I don't have noise. I probably turned it off last time when I was trying to show you guys something. Thank you for letting me know. Filters, yeah, it's not on. How's it sound now? Does it sound better? How's her sister's baby? She's doing really good. She's adorable. I got to hold her for a little bit. Yeah, she's born in April, so May, June, July. So she's a little over 3.5, 4 months. But yeah, she's super sweet. I think the plan is that they're gonna come back out for Christmas. They're gonna have celebrate Christmas here because they live in Arizona, and her sister was saying that she'd really like to have a white Christmas. And I mean, not that there's a guarantee it'll be a white Christmas here, but typically we get snow. It's at least cold, you know. It feels more Christmassy. So I think they're gonna come back out in December. So I'll get to see her again, hopefully at 8 months. The S1 caps out at 42 to 45 with temps 250, 260. Okay. Scarf seams are available in pressure slicer now. Nice. What about hover? Oh, hoovering, vacuuming. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There seems to be a huge delay in the chat. Interesting. I wonder if it's a delay in the chat or just me. I'm pretty far behind. Do you have the cauliflower from Vector? I don't. I need to. I've been wanting to buy it a few times. I probably should. Because that would be a good test to run on this to see accuracy. So why won't it be accurate? Is it because of being a Delta or just build quality? I don't know the answer to that, GPs. I know that Deltas, I've heard there's something with Deltas that can have an effect on accuracy. Let me see. Delta kinematics effect on print accuracy. I don't know if it's a math thing. Accuracy. This is from 6 years ago. The geometry is different geometries may introduce higher or lower loads on arms and articulation. This is rep form, so this is old, but doesn't mean it's not accurate. Delta robot platform, 3 pairs of arms, 2 principals. Each pair of arms is installed on the main articulated arm. Arm pairs are attached to the carriage. There's another solution. Oops. Bummer. I don't know the answer to that, GPs. Oh, here we go. Let's see. How to improve geometry. A small offset will reduce the load on arm articulation. For a given offset distance between the centers articulated, will modify the moment created by side loads to lower the space, the better stability. With these articulated merged, the geometric stability is very important as there is no... Okay, this is talking about the effector. I believe this is talking about more the effector geometry. Reachable areas. Schematics. Yeah, I don't entirely know. I would like to know. I'm doing 265 Celsius now for ABS. Seems to work just fine. Wow, that's... What do you have your max... What do you have the flow rates capped at then for that? I gotta go catch replay. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Just Push. Thanks for letting me know, nice. I didn't realize that I didn't have the filter on. And I imagine that was pretty dang loud. We're still doing... Oh, so it's doing that whole freaking scan thing. Is it actually doing anything? I don't know. I don't know. It looks similar to what Bamboo Labs uses. So I would think it's probably using the laser combined with some kind of a camera to check for ridges, I would think. Okay, cool. Yeah, the noise suppression's fantastic. Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry to hog a chat. When setting belt tension on underwire, do you set belts on side or top? Wait. When setting belt tension on the underwire, do you set belts on side or on top? I don't understand that question. When setting the belt, are you saying, do you strum the belts? Are you strumming the belts? As far as printer orientation, normally the printer is with the base down. Because there's tensioning screws on the underwire. There's the screw on the left and the right of basically of the Z towers, or of the towers, or the vertical extrusions. Wonder if you can help. My rat rig cannot run clipper screen and connect to Wi-Fi due to network manager. It's installed and up to date. Your rat rig cannot run clipper screen and connect to Wi-Fi. So these are separate things, or you're saying with clipper screen it can't connect to Wi-Fi, or just in general your printer is not able to run clipper screen, and then a separate thing is it also is not able to get onto your network? Delta can be precise, it's just more difficult. Industrial deltas could otherwise not work. That's fair. That's a good point, Booty. Some of the crazy expensive like Wasp Delta printers and stuff like that are industrial, so it can't be. Yeah, maybe it's just a difficulty of the. I wouldn't think it would be a limitation on the like computational side. I would think the limitation would probably more so be on the actual build of the machine. I would also be curious to see, like, let's say at the default speeds that this thing prints at, which are, from what I saw, really, really fast. It's not super accurate. I wonder if lowering it and what you have to lower it by excel in speed to get higher accuracy. And I mean, I've used it already for one functional part. It was the cover for the PG gland for the Nighthawk installed at 2.4. So I don't know how out of whack it is. I personally haven't noticed it, but it was mentioned by somebody else. So I just want to see if I do take some calipers, you know, how far off it really is. Calibration completed. We did it. All right. Confirm. Okay, so it should be. I didn't see it do input shaping, but I also was kind of distracted. So what I would like to do is just basically run a simple test. Like let's just print out like a 2020 calibration cube or something like that. Let's see. Was it 40 minutes? Holy cow. Hey, Luke. Gotcha. I don't think I strummed on the underwire, Matt. I'm almost positive. I didn't strum. I never liked the strumming method, so I don't believe I actually used it. If I remember correctly, I think that I just went based off of feel on that one, where I just sort of went, like I had them, I had the belts as close as possible as I could to each other, and then I just kind of went back and forth, like one turn, two turn, one turn, two turn, one turn, two turn, until it felt kind of right. I mean, I could probably, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure you could use something like this, like the belt tensioner. I haven't had to really tension much belts lately because we've done, like, the last build was the Milo, and then the positron. So I haven't really had to use this thing, but yeah, I did not strum the belt on that. Hey, Benny. Anybody else just get a loud beep, or was that my computer? I don't think so. If I boot the rat rig without a screen, it connects to Wi-Fi. If I plug it in and turn it on, the screen works, but doesn't Interesting. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. I did not pluck the belts. I would say if we're doing it based off of how, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be the left and right and not the top. If I were to choose where I'm strumming, I would say left and right and not top. Because generally speaking, on a Core XY, which I know this is Core XE, you're strumming not the, so it actually be there, not the back. Yeah, I would say left and right if you are going to be strumming it. I bought the Big Tree Tech belt tensioner, works a treat, never got on with plucking it. I might have to take a look at that. Okay, so let's quickly download their slicer, FLSUN slicer. We'll just do it for now because let's leave GitHub. That's really weird, GPs. I don't know. I bought it. I don't know what would be causing having the screen plugged in to affect Wi-Fi. It's bizarre. Yeah, I really have no idea. I have no clue either, as it's Rat OS. Not much I can do. Oh, we'll wait for Rat Voice 2.1 and start over. Out of curiosity, have you reached out to RatRig to see if they've got any ideas? Okay, so this is, let's at least download the latest. You can see, so you can actually see the artifacts I'm talking about here. You see this, like, kind of, I don't know, just pattern. Okay, let's run Windows. Hey, Aaron's back. I tried doing some sign language. I don't know if you saw that. Not super familiar with Clipper, only Linux. Do you have the shell access? Looks like renaming the WLAN interface names fixed the issue. I'm installing the Bamboo hot end. Oh, are you really? Just for fun, Tor? Did you have you had issues with the SVO8 hot end? Have you got a chance, Aaron, to play around with any of the CNC stuff a bit more? I think last week you were talking about that the cam was a lot more like involved than slicing was. I did, and they said to use the configurator. Can't see anything there to fix it. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the heck would be. The only printer really in a while that I've had issues with Wi-Fi was the Magneto X. But that was, so they sent me a retail unit and I donated the pre-release unit that they had me like doing some testing with early on. And with the retail unit, it booted right off with Clipper screen and was able to find my network without issues and connect right to it. So I don't know. Keep in mind that with that image showing artifact comparison, they're cool to print more so it hides it more. They're still there. The whole print turns matte. Welcome. Have you used yours, Dutch, for any... I don't need all these. Have you used yours for any functional printing? No. Sure. Definitely not. Expert mode. All right. Device. Add printer. Printer name. I never really name. I used to name my printers fun stuff, and now I just kind of name them like what they are. What is our network info here? We are, let's see, 105.200. 105.200. 192.168.105.200. Damn. What? What spaces? What? 192.168.105.200. S1. Oh, let's at least make it. Let's make it, yeah, I got nothing. S1. Seen a few issues where the nozzle fell out of the block. You haven't experienced it though, have you, Tor? Because I think I heard of like 1 or 2 scenarios with it. I'm pretty sure it's fairly isolated. Nadir made remixed amount, so using that. I can't print functional parts because of the print artifacts. It causes the whole part. God. Do you think there's anything that can be done about the artifacts, Dutch? Or do you think it's, what is this? Do you think it's gonna require like motor swaps? Because I'm not positive, but I would think it has to be something to do with the closed loop motors that's causing it. So it's been a paperweight on my table. I sent you an image of their latest email. Okay. So yeah, let's go here. Let's just do a cube. Let's just do a box. 20 mil. Cool. 20 mil cube. FLSUN PLA high speed. Cool. That's what we've got loaded up. I don't know what the difference is between this, but we'll go with that. Supports rim. No. Yeah, I'm just curious to see if we print this out, which is supposed to be 2020. What is it? What does it come out as? So it's only going to be a 4-minute print. So what kind of infill is that? Wait, so this is set. How do I change this so that way it is? Let's see, layers. Let's do 3 perimeters. I'm fine with that. Oh, corrugated. Let's just do rectilinear. Okay, let's print this. Let's just see. Let's just see, because I personally haven't done any measurements. There we go. God, that's loud. I should have lowered the fan speed too. What is cooling set to? Cooling. Great, cooling's gonna be 100%. It's just so freaking loud. I hope they can fix it, but if they can't, I'll put a crack in the Kraken motors. Yeah, I hope they can fix it too. I honestly think that's my biggest gripe with this is the artifacts. I haven't dealt with artifacts like that in a really long time. Like it's just like we're beyond having such extreme artifacts. Well, I guess the exception to that is the VZ bots and having issues from the beginning with some kind of artifacting. But generally speaking, artifacting is not. Oh, swap out for a Kraken motherboard. Gotcha. I have 7 rolls of carbon fiber ASA to go. Oh my god. I've not, but I also want a hardened steel nozzle for carbon fiber flow. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm surprised that they haven't released a hardened steel version. They sent over quite a few of their, I don't know. They sent over quite a few of these guys. But they definitely don't look hardened. I'm not exactly sure what the coating is on these. My V0 is called, oh nice, Mewtwo. The first of a few at least that will be color themed and named after Pokemon. I want to do a 2.4. Next, not sure whether to color it after Charizard or Ooh, Magnemite, nice. Oh my god, it's so loud. Yeah, it looks like straight copper, doesn't it? It's weird. I mean, I guess it'll have really good heat transfer, but I'm shocked that they didn't release a hardened one right away. Holy crap, what was that? Oh, I just, you guys can still hear me, but you won't be able to see anything. I pulled, I'll tell you guys what I did once I fix it, hold on. Ah. It's coming, hold on. Some of you might remember that I have a dedicated circuit, but it's in the ceiling here. And I might have just pulled it out with my foot. The cable that all this stuff's plugged into. There we go. Hey, Nick. Turn a couple of different places on the bed. I could do that as well. What are you working on right now, Zombie? What's your current project? I like Deltas though, it's moving. The Delta kinematics system is my favorite set. I love them, like I always have. I think they're the most fun printer to actually watch printing. So I really do have like a soft spot for them, and I want FLSUN to succeed because there is no other, you know, Delta manufacturer really, as far as I'm aware of, in this space that's putting out machines that have this much potential. I mean, they need help. I don't know. They need to wait longer. I don't know what they really need. They need to not promise 110 cubic millimeters a second and deliver 48, you know? I think that most people would be relatively, like, fine with them if they took a little bit longer and just put really what it can reach. It's really loud. I'll probably end up lowering the fan speed for the next print. Is this the FLSUN that has issues between advertised? Yeah, it is. It is. Had a nice trip over the camera cable. Something like that. I think it was actually the one of the studio lights. I think I turned it and it just pulled. Have you gotten a chance to check the floats I caught in from Bamboo Palette? No, I haven't. I've used quite a few of Micro Swiss's Floatech. I'm actually going to do a video on installing it in an Ender 3 V3 Plus soon here. But I actually was just going to reach out to them asking if they had any update on time frame for the Bamboo Lab one. Because I really like that Floatech now has, you know, they've always had swappable nozzles, but now they have like standard, they have hardened, they have diamond, and then they're working with Bontac to have like a CHT variant. So, but I don't have any info on the date yet. Yeah, like if they had said 50 cubic millimeters a second, which sounds like it's a lot closer to what this thing will actually be able to hit. I mean, maybe it's more like low to mid 40s, but at least that would have been still really high and much more realistic. But 110 was like moonshot. All right. First layer looks a little under extruded, but the corners are definitely bulgy. Digital calipers are where? There they are. So approximately, well, it depends. If I go all the way across this cube, hold on, let me go. So if I go all the way across the cube, which gets the bulgy corners, well, it's not. It's not bad. It's 20, so 20.01. If I don't press quite so hard, 20.06, 20.02, 20.04. Other side is, ooh. I don't know, so I can't tell you which side's X and which side's Y since I just went with a basic Q, but one of the directions, the other one is 20.19. So that's definitely further off. 20.11 now. The thing that's throwing it off is that the corners are quite bulky. So I don't know if, I think Dutch, you said that they had a default pressure advance value, but it seems like maybe it needs to, maybe we need to tune it for this specific filament. But yeah, it looks like 20.2 approximately. And then for Z is pretty bad. Z, I'm getting 20.27, 20.35, 20.24. So that's definitely more than I'm used to seeing. 20.25 on Z, 20.12, 20. Wow. Yeah, it's roughly 20.2-ish. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, corners are definitely having an effect on that though. Corners are bulging a bit, but I think that that's with their default pressure advance value, which I don't believe I can adjust that from here. It's probably going to be all on the slicer side, which would make sense. LAN AI general, power off after printing, auto sleep, power off guide. What is this? Oh, user guide. Filament, dry filament. Yeah. Let's swap out the filament for something else and just do a print, because I want to show you guys sort of what the artifacting is like. I'm tempted to do an ABS print, just something small. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do an ABS print. You guys won't really be able to see it much, but let's do this. Let's go desktop. Heat this up. We'll just do like 230. Slicer side or web interface, okay. Is there a PA? Color, diameter, extrusion multiplier, density, cost, spill weight, inner wall flow, outer wall flow. Is there a way to add it here? Maybe under advanced? Yeah, they have it set to 110 cubic. Purge, tool changer parameters. Hey, what's up, Mr. Melted? I've never been above on Z before. It's huge. Did you see the guy who's building a sub 1 minute benchy printer? Maybe I did. Was it just in the last week that the video went live? I think it came out when I was at my buddy's house, so I'm pretty sure I watched a little bit of it without audio. I was sitting on the couch in the living room. I think we were watching thing on TV. Okay, so let me really quickly check what Dutch sent over. Dutch, there he is. I was showing you the problem, it's well needs time consuming to solve, but you can rest assured that we basically made a breakthrough. Next version update. Well, I hope that's the case. They sent Dutch an email that they've really solved it. But yeah, here's the, so this is basically it. This is what Dutch is showing. He's got the FLSUN S1. I guess, so you can just sort of see there's this consistent pattern across the entire thing, which you can see in every every angle. It's obviously much more aggressive when you've got light bouncing off of it. But if you look at the edges here, it's enough of a pattern that it does actually influence the wall of the shape. Like it's not so small that it's like, oh, it's just a little bit of light refracting off of it. Like it's actually affecting the part. So that's why he was saying that he hasn't been able to use it for any functional prints because of this. To me, this is the biggest thing above all else. Let's figure out what the heck is going on with this artifact thing. I'm just shocked. I am shocked that this was something that wasn't addressed before this unit shipped. Like, I think this is probably my biggest disappointment with the unit, is this artifact thing, because it makes pretty prints not pretty. It makes functional parts not being able to be functional because it's affecting tolerances. Like, I'm really surprised also when I asked about it that their solution was to run input shaping, and I'm just like, man, you guys, like, this is not an input shaping thing. This is way too uniform. The pattern is kind of cute. Yeah, glass half full attitude. I like it. Okay, let's put in let's swap out for a different filament. I also don't love the way the filament loads on this thing. Let me see if I can show you guys without unplugging. So you can load filament externally. There's a tiny little inlet on the side, which, can you see this? No, you can't really. But there's a tiny inlet on the side. However, let's see, side view. The primary place for putting in filament is up top here, and it's just kind of tricky to get into because of how closed off it is. So let's see if I go filament, unload. We're gonna do 240. Okay, so it's heating up really quick. I disagree. They're doing the beta testing now. I think it adds character. God. Does this happen in base mode? I don't know. I can't say. I don't think I've actually ran anything in base mode on it. They clearly rushed it out, delaying beta testing for many months to the point where they had to just launch it. I just don't understand how or why. Like, they told me about this printer 7, 8, 9, 10-ish months ago. And who knows, like, I think they had said they'd been working on it for, a couple of years, which I don't doubt. I mean, this is such a leap compared to the V400. I mean, the V400 was a much more baked printer, but like, as far as what the V400 was to this, like, their goal was to make this substantial leap. But I just, God, I don't know, man. It really bums me out. It really bums me out. What are we doing here? Are we unloading? Did we already unload? Did I miss it? What's going on here? It says it's unloaded. Oh, it is unloaded. There we go. Just gotta use a little more strength. Best people to beta test are content creators. I don't like beta testing. If a company reaches out to me and tells me, hey, we want you to beta test this, my general answer is sorry. The exception to that was the Magneto X, which I also feel like there was a slight misunderstanding, maybe on my part or on their part, about what initial expectations were, but they did end up swapping me for a retail unit. But generally speaking, I just don't, from my perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because the item is going to change so much that any content I make on it or any information I provide really doesn't do much for anybody, because it has such a short level or short time span of being accurate info. So I typically am like, no, it doesn't make sense for me to cover this. Hey PC, happy Wednesday, happy last day of July. Okay, let's get some ABS. Let's just do a small ABS print. So many colors. What is this? That is Polyterra. Here we go. We got some teal Galaxy ABS. we go. But yeah, you like pretty much have to feed it before you put it in, because otherwise it's impossible to feed it through. So it's not exactly the... I would have loved if they had a second motor up here. Kind of like how the AMS does, where you basically insert it in there and then it pulls it to the next one. Like, that would have been such a nice, in my opinion, value add to this, because it's just, don't really love the way you load material. All right, so now that it's actually grabbed it, we can shove it in here and close this. But yeah, it feels a little clunky the way you load filament. Cool. Boop. All right, we're gonna close this, which means you guys are gonna have, the glare's not too bad. I guess it depends on the angle I go at. I originally tried to have this closed, but the glare was so bad with the TV behind it, but this seems manageable. Okay, let's find something to print. Any ideas? ABS, something that's not gonna take too long. I'm gonna give everyone a minute. If somebody has a model that they think would be good to print out. Hey, John. The spool loading reminds me of the little EBIS dryer where filament would consistently fall to the side and wrap around the middle. What EBIS dryer? I've used almost all of theirs and I haven't had any issues with them. Are you talking about the ease dry? I feel like you're talking about the ease dry. I never had issues with it though. I felt like, but I guess I did have to load it like that as well. I can do a Boron Cube, a Benchy, I can do a classic Benchy. The printer, yeah, it's a gorgeous looking printer. Like, it looks incredible. Like, when I unboxed it the first time, I'm like, dude, this looks like something you teleport inside of, or like a freeze, like what is it, cryo chamber? Is that right? Cryo chamber? Like a freeze chamber. Pen holder, Benchy, Boron Cube. I don't hate the idea of a pen holder because it's kind of functional. What are the firmware changes? They are, let's first find, one second here. Let me go to printables and find a quick model. Then I'll show you them in a second. John, we read through them earlier. There's quite a few. Okay, I searched pen holder, I think. Maybe I didn't. Pen holder. Okay, this one's kind of adorable. Kind of like this one. And it's also in similar color. Although we don't have 10 hours to print it. It needs to be something smaller. Pen holder might be too big. Ice cream cone? There should be a what is it? A Calibot? Calibot. Oh! What? Let's... I forgot you made this. Alright, we're gonna print out this guy. Cool! Yeah, let's do Calibot. Even though we just did a cube, but I kind of want to print this, man. I forgot that, this was created a little while back. Yeah, let's do this. Sharp edges, rounded edges. I think we'll do rounded edges because if we don't, they're gonna be rounded regardless. Yeah, let's try this. Yeah, I forgot it. I totally forgot about it. Why is this... Did it freeze on me? Lovely. Lovely. Oh, it's because this window's open, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, I forgot that was created. I remember initially I was tagged in it, but it was such a long time ago. It was created by I don't remember if I call him Dinnick. Dinnick? Just got some going now. They are super cute. Novelty ice cream cone containers. I'll have to check that out too, Ryan. That sounds awesome. Let's see. Okay, so it is a 20mm cube. I kind of want to scale it just a hair. Let's do... Let's see how long that's going to take. Well, let's switch this, right? ABS. I do want to transfer that over. But I also want to make sure... Do we... Okay, cool. Cooling's at 50%. Way better. Yeah, let's try it. Shouldn't the ears go out, not in? Yes. Yeah, I think that the ear going out would probably be cool, depending on the extent of it, because you could kind of use it as a like slight overhang test. It's still pretty cool though. Okay. Yeah, 16 minutes. It seems fine. How can you scale it hair when it doesn't have hair? You need a Kelly cat for that. Well, there's definitely going to be some glare, but hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, overhang would be cool. I have a V400 after I did the exorcism. It was a clipper. It's a fantastic machine. I really liked my V400. I don't actually think I did any mods to it. Yeah, I don't think I actually did any mods to it, and I still was quite happy with it, even with the FLSUN sort of limited stuff on it. Hey, Zombie, I got a question for you. It was probably announced somewhere, but when it comes to Polymaker's... Let's actually open the giveaway for Polymaker really quick before I finish this. Let's see. Okay, link is pinned in chat. We are opening up a little bit earlier today. It's gonna be a little bit shorter of a stream. I'm gonna... I want to say goodbye to my sister-in-law before she gets going, and if I get done a little bit early, I get to hang out with her and my my niece, right? But yeah, giveaway form is pinned in chat. So question I've got is, with the new, not poly, why am I brain farting right now? 1 second here. Panchroma, I couldn't remember it. With the new Panchroma series. So obviously it's a new box, it's a new spool. And I know that there are some new colors, but what all has merged inside of Panchroma? So is Polylight no more, at least for PLA, it's now Panchroma, as well as, like, so originally I was under the impression that it was a new, completely new series of, well, it is a new series, but like all formulas were gonna be new, which I discovered is clearly not the case. But I know there are also some new colors that have come out alongside Panchroma. So I'm just curious, like, what has merged? Do you know exactly what's merged under that category? Black Box CE, yes or no? You mean, are we gonna be building one? It's not in the cards right now. I like watching Delta, very therapeutic, but such an inefficient use of space. I love watching Delta printers. I'm okay with the inefficient use of space. I typically have more height than width to deal with, so although I, you know, for the height, it takes up a lot of height, I don't necessarily mind so much. I just love deltas. I really, really do. They're such a fun motion system, some fun platform. PPS carbon fiber. Hey Liz, happy Wednesday. Let's see. Liz gets a. We're just giving her a cheer for Liz. Happy Wednesday. One of the main considerations I have when buying a printer now is the degree of difficulty on installing Real Clipper on it. The Creality Ender 3 V3 Plus is a great machine. I have the V3, so I have the Ender 3 V3 and I have the Ender 3 V3 Plus, and they to me are some of like they're up there for me as far as best bed slingers that exist. Like they're really solid machines. I love the A1 Mini, I love the A1, and I mean, Mark IV is a different machine in itself because just Prusa and its whole ecosystem. But as far as like, it's really impressive. If these things had come out two years ago, it would have taken the market by storm. It would have been like the next original Ender 3, in my opinion. But it's just like, timing is everything in this space. But they are really, really solid units. Okay, Panchroma Regular is a new formula and will eventually replace Polylight PLA. Okay, Panchroma Regular is a new formula and will eventually replace Polylight PLA. Funny Zombie and I made a video about that, but there are lots of cool things. You guys made a video talking about specifically Panchroma. I will watch it then after. What channel? Let me see if I just search Panchroma Polymaker. Because I did a quick search on their website to see if I could find like their explanation of what Panchroma was, and I didn't see it. Is it the launch video that you guys did? This one? Polylight colors were merged. Existing materials like PLA Pro will remain as is. It's also a PLA-like, hold on. Let me go back to this really quick. What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? It's also PLA, not PLA. Wait, it's not PLA? Oh yeah, I found a lot more of a write-up than I remember seeing. Here we go. Panchroma and new aesthetic product family is designed to meet the growing demand for high-quality, visually stunning 3D prints, while offering the widest selection of colors and surface finishes available in the market. Panchroma is committed to the highest quality color of its products. Employs a number of extrusion techniques in order to create their filament, and the combinations of these techniques with the multitude of color expands the filament offering exponentially. Filaments are divided by their extrusion process. Filaments are divided by their extrusion process, then surface finish, and finally color. This allows users to navigate through the vast array of options and find the filament they need. To further assist customers with their workflow, Polymaker reprinting? Nope. To further assist customers with their workflow, Polymaker is developing a web-based tool that allows users to create realistic digital renders based on different... That's sick. On the occasion of the official launch of these two products, Polymaker has completely upgraded the packaging to enhance user experience, adding inside and outside spool wrapping, before and after. Explore 17 surface finishes and more than 150 color combinations. So there's regular, matte, celestial, galaxy, satin silk, starlight, translucent. Gradients. But once again, you're saying though this is a completely different formula, and that it's actually not, like they're not calling it PLA? Because I don't see it saying PLA. I mean, based off the parameters, it certainly looks like PLA, but maybe it's a copolymer now. Existing materials like PLA Pro, Polylight colors were merged. What's on my head just said. Existing materials like PLA, I thought Panchroma had to do with the official chroma colors. Oh, this is printing. Or starting to print. Polyterra has been renamed to Polylight Matte. Oh, okay. with the existing formula and colors. Oh, you're so okay. So you're saying Panchroma regular. Gotcha. So the regular category is new. So going here, I think this is what Zombie was saying, is that so if you go back and you have like these different categories, regular ones are the new ones. So I think that's what you're saying. These are all ones that are brand new formulas. And then I think you said that matte, Polyterra is moving to, okay, so matte will be what was previously Polyterra, which makes sense because they were all matte. This as well. Satin is the existing Polyterra PLA Plus. Okay, there's new PLA called Celestial that's like Starlight, but a little more translucent. There's new colors being added to Starlight, Matte, and new rainbows. Nice, that's awesome. Thank you. That helps explain it a bit more. Because I thought I knew it first, but after the more that I've seen like Zombies posts on X and just little things here and there, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I was right. Is there a fake clipper? So there's not really a fake clipper, but a lot of these companies are not using like vanilla clipper. They're forked versions of it where they make modifications to it. Some of them are, I mean, a lot of them really are just like limiting functionality for one reason or another. But the issue with that just means that you can't update. You have to wait for them, you have to wait for the manufacturer to update their version of Clipper to implement any features that vanilla Clipper has added on, which it's always there's always a lag, and a lot of times there's bugs or issues with the forked Clipper that they're screwing around with, and a lot of times they just fork it and like do a few updates and then they just leave it, so you end up getting left. It doesn't it doesn't make sense. I mean, I think that one of the reasons why some of them will fork Clipper is because, as far as I'm aware, Clipper is only compatible with like Clipper screen as well as the sort of default Clipper that you can get through like the 12864 screens. And a lot of these companies are running custom screens that are not just skinned Clipper screen, but they're actually running their own firmware. And I think that as part of being able to get them to communicate with Clipper, they have to fork it to basically add some stuff. But the easy solution would be like, just don't run that. Like, don't just use Clipper screen or I don't know. I also do understand it to an extent, because I can see Clipper screen being overwhelming for someone. Like it's certainly, it's more of a confusing UI than say like a Bamboo printer, because you have so much more control and like the console that you can access and stuff like that. While someone like that just wants a printer that prints probably doesn't necessarily want access. But it would be cool if they can ship it with Clipper screen, but maybe just have all those things sort of toggled off. Like maybe, I don't know if Clipper screen has it, but some kind of menu where you could just toggle off visibility. That way for someone that's getting it, they don't really need to go under settings and enable a bunch of stuff. But for those that do want it, could have it. There's gotta be like a happy medium. Celestial, Neon, and Translucent are new lines with the existing PLA formula. Did they stop planting a tree for every Polyterra spool sold? That's right, that was a thing when Polyterra first launched, or for Polyterra. They planted a lot of trees. I published my YouTube channel. Yeah, can you send me a link, Liz? If you just want to like maybe shoot it over on Discord, I'll watch it later today then. I had a meeting with Polymaker, but can't recall all the changes offhand, and what I can't talk about would need to pull up the notes. Oh, I didn't even realize that you were under. I just saw Liz and then your thumbnail, or your icon. I didn't realize that it was a different account. Peacock feathers. Isn't Clipper open source? Clipper is open source. Its first layer is faster than my normal print speed. Yeah, this thing boogies. There's no denying it. If they can figure out what the heck's going on with the artifacts, get some solid profiles out, and fix the few bugs here and there, like, I mean, it has the potential to still be a great printer. I just wish they hadn't been deceitful about the print speed, the top print speed. They sent over the G code. Let me see here. I think they sent over the G code that they said they used. Where is it? Did you see the email I sent to you using WeTransfer? Oh, this is our test for the 110 km flow in carbon fiber filament. I attached the G code in related video. Hope it's useful. Huh, let's take a look at this. Ooh, it's gonna take a few minutes to download, I guess. I think Klipper also supports panel view style serial displays with more simplified controls. They might. I don't know for sure. I just remember, I think it was like the Ender. Was it the Ender 7? The Ender 7 that was the Core XY? Ender 7. Yeah, I think it was on the Ender 7. I was looking at what it would take to get Klipper on it. And I wanted to be able to keep the screen. And I think even with the CR10S Pro, and someone had figured out a way to get the screen to work with Klipper, but it required a Klipper fork. And so it's been years since I've actually looked into it, but I remember there being some limitation, a pretty decent limitation when it came to touchscreens of what could be used with Klipper other than, say, like Klipper screen. Hey, Maurice. I'm not saying Daniel gets behind on chat, but he's reading comments from his last stream. Oh, man. Feels bad, man. I'm not that far behind, am I? I'm not that far behind. I think part of it is they don't want little Bobby accidentally breaking it by trying to get to an update themselves. Which I do, yeah, that's the tough thing, is I do understand. I don't know. I don't know. Just like Eddie Probe, they use a Klipper fork. Yeah. Eddie's. What do you mean? Wait, I'm quite far behind. Your message just popped up saying you're quite far behind. So is there? You know what? I bet you. Okay, I know what it is. I know what it is. Because this wasn't a stream that I use the same settings for, latency is set to normal latency. So I normally have it set to low latency. I don't know what the second count difference is, but that's probably a big part of it, that I'm actually not getting the comments this week, or the chat, nearly as quickly. Looks like we're at 76 likes. If you have not, smack the like button. Let's see if we can get to 85 likes. Top chat instead of live. Okay, so this is what they sent over. They sent me over a video file. Oh, you know what? I think I need to extract this. Okay. Okay, so we can see flow hits 109.9. for a very, 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 very brief second. I wonder if there could something make this number inaccurate, because usually I do feel like that number you can go based off of. So this is all that model is. It's just around. So it is hitting 109.9 as it's going around, according to this. I might have to get a Delta just to stay. Yeah, it's quite mesmerizing. I don't know what that music is. It's awful. Those Clipper max numbers are incorrect. I think Daniel's planning for later this year when he is broadcasting from space. Wait, what? What did I do? Was it the music? It shows requested. Okay, gotcha. So that is not an actual number that it's hitting, you're saying. Why did this open like this? So they are trying to hit, okay, so that makes sense then. Because for the inside, it's showing 109.9, which, like you just said, is what they're requesting. Is there a way for, you know what? I know Prusa Slicer has that new function where you can actually see based off of the settings what it's actually hitting, which would be kind of useful for analyzing this. Hey, that was FLSUN, not me. The new Prusa Slicer update lets you see the real speed flow rate number. If you access it, try opening the G code in there and check it. Okay, let's. I don't think I have the latest downloaded, so let's close out of this. Discard. The max number is a short spike. It should be the infill speed flow. It should be the infill speed flow. You mean what they've set the infill speed flow to? I don't think I have any way of checking that from here though, do I? I mean, I know they had it set to 110 in the slicer. Like if I go here and I go back to their high flow stuff, let's discard this, go here, filament, where did I see it? Advanced? Yeah. So here they have it set to 110. Has FLSUN S1 fixed the loud fan? You mean the CPAP? If you mean the CPAP, then no. I don't think they can really fix it. It's more you can lower the speed on it. They created a muffler model though, which I have not printed out. I don't know how much of an effect that has on it. Nice, 26 months. Thank you very much. Hell yeah. Let's see. We'll do air horn. Thank you for the support. Nice. Matt. Or Matthew. Do you prefer Matt or Matthew? I feel like Matthew feels very, very formal. Matthew, thank you very much for the 21 months. Let's do... I will do Hadouken. What's the Excel it has set for the infill? That is a great question. So that would be under print settings. Speed. 20K. 20K Excel. So I would imagine I need to probably plug these into Prusa Slicer for this to be even remotely accurate, right? Welcome, here's my register downloads. No. You must install a configuration update. Okay. So I would think it wouldn't really matter what plate I put this on. Oh, RS Makes, thank you for 23 months, man. Let's see, we'll do cheer. Cheer, and I'm clapping for that. Okay, Matt, cool. I'll go with Matt then. I was like, Matthew feels too formal, but maybe you prefer it. So Clipper, when doing infill, assuming that is the fastest in the print, that number in Clipper is quite accurate. Wait, so in Clipper, when it is doing infill, assuming that is the fastest in the print, that number in Clipper is quite accurate. The fan speed only needs to be 30%, 40% printing in 60 milliseconds. Okay. Yeah, for ABS, they capped it at 50%. The fan defaults are way too much. For PLA, it's set to 100% still, which is nuts. So we're thinking, I mean, there's not going to be a profile for it, which I don't think really matters. But I would think that I can still take, oops, that's not. I would think that I could still go in here, grab this. Okay. And then, okay, so this is showing us more accurately, but this doesn't have the acceleration values, does it? Or does this, or maybe this does have the acceleration values. Since the acceleration values are assigned via the G code, right? This might actually be quite accurate. So, am I wrong? Am I thinking? I'm just thinking right now that as long as, since this is Clipper, and the acceleration values are being, as long as it's not above what the machine's firmware cap is at, it does have the ability to assign acceleration for specific move types. I would think this would be quite accurate. When am I doing the drawing? In 5 minutes. 5 minutes and we will do the filament drawing. If you have to go, let's see, my girlfriend wants me to go to dinner and I want to see my name not get drawn. I was going to say, if you want to go to dinner, you don't have to be present, and you win. If you win, I will still, you know, contact you. But I understand also I like watching the wheel spin. I like the Joseph Clippy down in the corner. There was an actual flow rate view. I think, is this not? Oh. Oh. Wait a minute. So, even though this has a gradient to it, I don't understand that. I would think that the gradient would be because of the acceleration, showing that, like here, you know, we're at 33 cubic millimeters a second, and then as we're ramping up, wait, this is actually, yeah, so this is like 22, then 33. What is the distinction between this one then? Because again, I would think that this would just be solid. Like it would say, hey, all infill is a solid color versus actual. But yeah, actual is definitely slower. I mean, the highest we're getting up to then is 97 cubic millimeters a second. But a lot of it looks like it's more in the lighter red. So maybe 77 to 80, which is still really damn fast. What's the acceleration and speed it has set for the infill? I don't know. Is there a way to check that easily based off the G code? I would assume that if is there a way to view the G code? Why don't I would think hide custom, show custom G code. No, that's just a visual thing. Where am I missing it? I feel like there has to be, usually in Prusa Slicer, there's an output where you can scroll through the G code. I'm not seeing it. You can't get to full speed right away. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I understand, but what I'm getting at is like, so here you can see blue, it starts at 0, and then it ramps up and then it slows down, like, because it has to have, even with really high accelerations, you can reach the speed quicker, but there's still a ramp of sorts. But what I don't understand is why this also has a ramp. Like, you can see the gradient ramp. And so that's why I'm a little bit confused on between volumetric flow rate versus actual. Like, where is it pulling the values from for this one versus where is it pulling the values from this one, I guess is what I'm getting at. This is the actual speed. This says actual volumetric flow. Let's see. I cannot give subs today. They hacked my Visa gift card. Waiting for the new one. Hey, no worries. Nice. I appreciate all the support. I'm sorry to hear that happen though. I definitely, one of my fears is, well, getting my card hacked for sure, but just losing my card in general. It's never fun. I've got it tied to so many things. It's just such a pain in the butt having to change all the info everywhere. Sounds to me should be in the G code as long as the slicer governs the Excel and not the machine. Yeah, and with Clipper it should, as long as, I think the limiting factor will be that in the slicer you can't set it above what the firmware's max under the printer value is. Open 2 tabs and see the difference. I feel like you can see them quick enough with this, but I can open 2 tabs if we want to see that. 1 more minute on the giveaway. I don't know, I feel like it's too small if I go like that. Faster speed and higher flow in center. Yep, that makes sense. Open, but if you really want to know the max flow, print the test and take the numbers from main sale. Which is what they showed though. I mean, they did show that, which I can print the test. Do we want to print the test? The start will be a higher pressure and more, but in the middle is to melt cold filament. I highly doubt their hotting can actually push 77 cubic. You can't get to full speed right away. I can't get past 45 cubic for clean quality like bamboo. That's an Orca. Should we try print? Oh, I don't know. Oh, holy crap. Oh, you know what? I didn't adjust the Z offset. That's why we were too close. Also, excuse me. RS Makes, thank you very much for the 5 gift memberships, man. Cheers. Let's see, I got a Hadouken, and I'm not super hungry yet, but I'll still do.
What's for dinner?
Thank you, RS. Looks like Mike. I don't know if it's Mike or Mickey. Mickey got one. Phil got one. Dark Dimension got one, Kenneth got one, and Joe Rust got a membership. Yeah, we can start a, let's do that actually. Let me fire up a max flow rate test, and then we'll do the drawing right now. So it'll take 2 seconds just to do this. Maybe a second longer than 2 seconds because I'm struggling here. I need to adjust the Z offset, but I'm gonna let it do this one more print without adjusting the Z offset. Okay, so let's just quickly do this. I don't actually, you know, I can't do it from here, can I? Because it doesn't have, there's no calibration test, so I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it in configuration. Yeah, they don't have them built in, so I'll have to go to Orca Slicer, generate it, and then hop back. So, okay, let's Let's do this. If you're filling out the form, you've got 60 seconds. And then I'm going to remove it. I'm actually going to remove it right now. Let's see. Remove. Unpin. Hey, Jose. What layer height and width is it set for the infill? That's a good question. I just closed it. I can check in a second. Let's unpin message. Okay, let me get the... Okay, 77 responses. Oops. All right, here we go. Okay, I did it. 77 responses. So I will do this quickly. Thank you to Polymaker for letting us give away another spool of filament. You now have the chance to, I would imagine that the Polychroma series you can get anywhere in, I think anywhere in the world, I would think. Don't quote me on that. I hope it's not just a US thing, but I would think it's coming everywhere. It seems like such a big overhaul. But this, as far as I'm aware, it's the same rules. So if you're in the US or Canada, you'll get a gift card. Anywhere else, you'll be able to choose between a huge list of filaments, which are PLA, ABS, PETG, and ASAs. And if you have not tried Polymaker filament, there is no better time. They've got their Polychroma and Fiber. What is the new other one? Fiberon is the fiber one, which is a bunch of their engineering filaments, which are sweet. So, all right. How many times do we want to shuffle today? It's the last day of the month. Should you get 31 times? Let's see, 110 cubic millimeters of flow with a 0.2 layer height and 0.5 line width is 1200 millimeters a second. Yes, it was great. They directly canceled the card. And oh, that's super cool. They use a credit card then? Nice. Pin Chroma and Fiberon, yeah. It's gonna take me a little bit to remember those names. We'll do 4. We'll do 4, yeah. I don't want to do 99. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good luck, everybody. And 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Oh, it did roll right by you, Dark. It was pretty close. PC Van, you are our winner. Congratulations, buddy. Let's see. Oh, that's not the right one. That's kind of the right one. We'll do this one. And we'll do a little air horn action. Congratulations. So I will send you an email probably this evening. Even last week with me traveling, I was really good about getting the email off to the winner. So congratulations. And yeah, look out for an email from me probably this evening. My Limp Bizkit reference detection almost went off with that, what? Oh. Looks like I didn't make it on time. Sorry, Petty, we went a little bit earlier today. It's gonna be a little shorter of a stream just because I got family in town. You were very close, Vlad, super close. Sorry, Zombie, better luck next time. I know you're really itching to get some of that new Polymaker filament in. So let's do a few things here. First thing I want to do is take a look at this cube. You can see some of the artifacting. Right, you can see sort of the waviness. I mean, for how fast it was printing, it's not terrible, I suppose. But it's definitely not great. We've got some over extruding as well on the top, which might not be, I mean, I probably need to adjust flow rate a bit, but part of it is also very likely that the bottom needs a Z offset adjustment. So it definitely started too close, but it also looks like flow rate could use some work. It needs to be a little bit lower. Top layer's got, you can see kind of the buildup from the nozzle rubbing into it. But yeah, depending on the light, you can see, okay, yeah, there you go. You can see sort of that uniform pattern across the entire thing. It seems like this filament is because of the glitter and sort of matteness of it, it's not quite as obnoxious. But on a glossy filament, it's definitely, come on, it's quite a bit worse. Also, what the heck is that? Was that? Oh, you know, I think that was part of the model. That was awesome. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, man. What do you know what you're gonna get? Skill issue. It's probably because I didn't level the bed, right, zombie? It's got to be what it was. So let's do a few things here. The first thing I want to do is I would like to actually fire off a max flow rate test. I'm trying to think of the easiest way for me to do this. I want to say that they have an Orca slicer profile for at least PLA that I can grab as a starting point, and then I can just basically modify it for ABS. Because I'm pretty sure it's still not built into Orca slicer. So FLSUN S1, oops, Orca slicer. Let's see what comes up. What? Really? Lovely. Can I get to it if I go through Edge? Oops. Can I not continue? Isn't there usually? Oh, there we go. Yeah, Edge will let me go to the unsafe place. Yeah, Orca. So I just want to get a the S1 is not built into Orca slicer, so I just want to get their profile so I can get it into Orca slicer, and then I'll run the max flow test. User manual. Orca import. Okay, so let's open up Orca, which is already open. And it said we needed to add Okay, that doesn't seem like it worked. What the heck? Was it because it's a zip file? Yeah. Wait, I'm confused now. It says that it extracted here, but I sure don't see anything. Let's try desktop maybe. Extract files. So it should be FLSUN Orca slicer configuration files. Let's try on our desktop. There we go. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to go here. We need to go file. We need to go import configs. Let's go to our desktop. FLSUN. There we go. Okay, so I guess that won't work. So we have to have the V400. Cert expired, yeah. So it seemed like based off that Reddit post from a week ago. Right, I'm off out with the family. Hey, have a great rest of your day, John. Thanks for swinging by. So let's see if we do V400. Confirm. Now let's see if it works. Okay, it froze. There we go. File, import configs. Sweet. Okay, that did work. Edge browser. Click the corresponding buttons. So it wants us to load I don't know if I'm supposed to go texture or model. What did it say? Did I close out of it? Oh shit. I closed out of it. We'll get it. We're getting there. Okay, texture is what we want. Texture load. Bam. Okay, so now we can save this as FLSUN S1. Okay. Sweet. And then I'm pretty sure it was 192.168.105.200. Sweet. Sweet. Okay, let's close out of a few things here. Let's close out of this, close out of this. Discard. I think my computer is still freaking out a little bit. I got a lot of crap open. Okay, so what do we got? Oh, we got generic ABS. So let's try this. Let's go calibration, max flow rate. So let's start at, like, what do we want to start at? 40 maybe? So that way it's close to what we're thinking cap probably is. And then end it at what they're saying it can potentially hit, which is 110. Does that sound good? This is going to be really tall, isn't it? Oh my God. I mean, based off of what we're thinking, it shouldn't hit anywhere near 110. If it's going to cap, it'll probably cap way lower down. God, that's huge. So we're going to want, yeah, so max flow rate super high. Temperature, this is probably fine, right? If we go with flow, yeah, so we're starting. I don't know why it shows 36 on the bottom. It should be more like 40. This should be 40s. Well, I guess, yeah, this should be 40 like right here. So, and we're anticipating it's going to fail somewhere like right here. So I think we just go for it. Make sure your outer wall accels are maxed out. Good point. Normal printing, 30K. Outer wall. So we think 20K. Infill, solid, infill. Top solid infill perimeters. So they got it to 22K. So I want to do 22K maybe. That way we're mirroring that. Wait. What is this saying? Spiral mode only works when wall loops is 1. Support is disabled. Top shows 0 space infill densities and time lapse situational. That should be fine. Yeah, let's go 22K for this. That's like the max they have it set at, so I'm gonna assume that's okay. Yeah, let's just go for it. I mean, again, based off of what we're hearing and seeing and thinking, we won't get anywhere near the top of this. So we'll probably be ending this print. But let's also take a look at, if we go to, okay, so this was at 0.2. Someone had asked what their test was at. It was at a 0.2 layer height. With, it looks like close to a 0.47 approximately line width for most of it. I think you said at 0.2 layer height and 0.5 line width, it would require accelerations to be 1300. I'm curious to see what their video, let me see here. Oh, it doesn't, I forgot, it doesn't show accels here, does it? Yeah, so we can't actually see the accelerations here. There's no music on, is there? We need some music. We need some music. There we go. Okay. Bed's heating up. That's what's taking the longest. We need to get to 105. We're at 80. Approximately close to 80. Oh. Ooh. Let's see, you said 800, so we need 800. Hi. The yogurt? Thank you. Thank you, Mama. It's food o'clock. Let's see, so you're saying 800 millimeters a second with a 0.2 layer and 0.5 is 73. Oh, interesting. So you're saying that even if the accel is at, oh, you said it would require, that's right, you said it would require 1300 millimeters per second, not acceleration. 1300 millimeters per second with 0.2 and 0.5. So at 800 millimeters per second, we're getting 73. Gotcha. Where is my, there we go. Yeah, so they're not hitting it. They're not hitting it then. This shows the cap is at 800, so at 800, the max they'd be hitting is 73. What material and temp were they printing? They didn't tell me that. Can I see temperature? So at 250 Celsius, I would think it's probably a high flow PLA. It's in white, right? Yeah, I have a feeling it's likely what they, because when they initially reached out to me, they had requested that I only printed, I think they had requested that I only print in their filament or for the testing or something like that, which I just ignored because I'm not going to do that. But where the heck's the spool? It's like their high speed. What did I, no, seriously, I took the filament out from right here, complained about the spool holder being right there. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so it's PLA. You guys see me? Here you can. I'm pretty sure this is what it is. So they're high-speed PLA. So it's formulated to melt quicker and easier. So it would be safe to assume that with a non-high flow or high-speed filament, you would be getting a lower max volumetric flow rate. So, man, even 70 would have been making it a little more realistic if you use their hyperfilament. Yeah, okay, so you're saying it would require 1200 millimeters a second for flow. Thank you for doing the math, Nuno. I appreciate it. Let's see, the max volumetric flow print G code. They have the max the volumetric flow print G code. They have the max excel limit reduced so it doesn't hit nowhere near the flow it requests. So it completes the print and people think it's hitting. Ah. But you're saying, the reason why it says 110 cubic millimeters a second in this is because it's what's being requested. So this isn't actually displaying the true output, it's displaying what's being requested. Because you can see here that the speed is, I mean, it did say 1200 millimeters a second for a split second there. But 800 seems to be kind of the cap for the majority of it, which we just looked in the slicer at this G code and it does cap at 800. Hey, RH! Hot dogs and potato salad, or order some burgers for lunch. Man, I'm definitely a burger guy over hot dogs. That being said, every once in a while, a good hot dog is hard to compete with. But generally speaking, I would say 20 out of 21 times, I'm going with hamburgers. You do find marketing and engineering departments don't talk. Yeah, I agree. That seems to happen all too often, GPs, that the marketing and engineering departments seem like they're not even with the same company. So the next question then is, if that's the case, and this thing is only hitting 70 cubic millimeters a second, roughly, approximately. The next question is it that they were knowing this and intentionally being deceitful? Or is it a bit of ignorance on their part? Like they were not aware? Both are not great. Both are really not great because, the company that's making these claims should know what they're claiming. And if it was an honest mistake, I would, at the very least, like for them to come out and own up to it, which you sure would be embarrassing, but, at least would kind of go to show that they're willing to admit that it was a fluke in their testing parameters, or their, I don't know. I mean, they both suck. Both of them, both scenarios aren't great, but I would prefer, I think, an honest mistake over... Oh, I would prefer an honest mistake over intentionally being, claiming one thing and it not, and then knowing damn well it couldn't actually reach that. They only have 200 millimeters set for trout. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, yep. That's why we're only seeing it for a split second as it's jumping. Hot dog charred in the grill. So the place I worked at when Aaron and me started dating was a Chicago sports bar. And if I remember correctly, I don't think I got free meals there, but I did get like discounted meals. I'm pretty sure it was like half off. And the one thing I would get often, because there was a really good deal and I loved them, was Chicago dogs. So kind of like just traditional hot dog, but you had garlic, like garlic salt or whatever on it, which was super good. And then you had Chicago sports peppers on there, which were pretty damn hot. I mean, for someone that's really into hot foods, you're probably like, nah, it's not hot. But for someone that doesn't typically dabble with a lot of hot stuff, it's pretty warm, and those were killer. But yeah, I agree. A hot dog on a grill with the char lines, it definitely gives it some bonus points. I like companies who undersell their numbers, shows confidence. I agree. I would also prefer under. I would also prefer a safe under, and for people to discover, hey, actually, I can push this 5 cubic millimeters per second more. Either way, it's false advertisement, 100%. Yeah, I agree. They're both bad. No denying it. They are both bad. I'm just saying that yeah, they're both bad. If you make a 3D printer, you should know what it's capable of and provide and/or the pre-sliced cheat code. Yep. My biggest thing is that for these companies that have these claims, in general, a lot of these claims have been very situational, right? So they can hit this, but usually it's travel speed. I think as a bare minimum, they should have a freaking asterisk next to their claim with the specific parameters or situation. That way it's not misleading, because you see it, and a lot of people see a number, you know, 20K Excel, and I'm like, that's great, like for traveling, but just say it, like capable of 20K traveling, or if it says 20K and then a little asterisk says, you know, this is for travel speed, and you know, it will be different for actual printing parameter. I mean, I get that it throws a little bit of sand on the flame, but at least at that point, you're being honest. I mean, not that saying it can hit 20K isn't being honest, but it is knowingly leaving out information that is stuff people would want to know, you know. Hey WT, hope all is well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing great. I had a weekend off. I went back home to California and got to hang out with some buddies, so I feel I want to say refreshed, but tired is more accurate term. But yeah, I feel good. Thank you, man. I hope you're doing well. They claim they fired the guy who put out the G code. Considering the camera is rotated 90 degrees by default, I think they don't understand the web interface. From what other YouTubers tested, it can do around 40 cubic millimeters per second of continuous flow. I normally bake mine. Don't want to pull out the grill for a quick lunch. I had the other day, was it the other day? I think it was the other day, where somebody boiled them. I grew up, my mom boiled a lot of our hot dogs. And I don't mind that. I prefer the grill, absolutely. But the one benefit of boiling is that they're like super juicy. The only thing you say about this company is buyer beware. Which makes me sad, because with the V400, yes, they had issues. Yes, there was delays on shipping, but it was a lot more like by the book. They weren't claiming any, I mean, they were claiming some pretty crazy stuff, but like it was within reason. And then with this, they just were like, we're going bananas. I had to have been because the X1 carbon. I mean, it feels like a lot of this was influenced by the X1 carbon. At least that's what I see with a lot of the sort of aesthetics. I went full vegan 8 months ago. I love meat, but it wasn't doing great things for my health. Since then, a lot of my other food allergies have disappeared. Makes the no animals things easier, but still. I have no desire to go full vegan. If I had to, like if there was some serious health thing, I mean, I would have to make the sacrifice, but I really like eating meat. My doc definitely did say, though, the recommendation was to cut back on darker meats and to incorporate more fish into my diet. We go in phases, like sometimes, because I really do, salmon especially I love, but we will do really well when we'll be having fish fairly often, then all of a sudden it's like, we haven't had salmon in 2 months. Sorry, you talking about hot dogs was triggering. Sorry, Micah. Did they fix the stripe that goes up the side when the so-called time? Did they fix the stripe? I don't think so. So I believe what he's saying, this is supposed to be some kind of a like time gauge. Like, I don't know. I think it's supposed to be all dark as it progresses. It's supposed to be for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So maybe each 10% or every 5%, one of these bars are supposed to light up, but they don't work. I originally just thought it was like a random light to make it look more like a spaceship, but apparently it's supposed to have some sort of functionality. But yeah, it doesn't look like it works. I need an air fryer. Everyone keeps telling me to grab one. We got one on Black Friday. It's the it's a foodie one, so it has two in one. Which the benefit of that is you can cook like 2 different things at 2 different temps side by side. But the downside of it is each of the baskets are much smaller, and so it's kind of annoying at times when you want to cook a larger portion of food, but you have to sort of divvy it out into 2 small baskets. But yeah, we really like it. It does an awesome job with things like this morning. Aaron did sausage and hash browns in it, and like the hash browns are the crispiest. They're so freaking good. Hash browns and fries, it does such a great job with. But even, I mean, lots of other things too. Wet paper towel around the glizzy and into the microwave is basically the same as boiling, right? That's funny. I don't know. I've never tried that, but for the marketing department, it's a numbers game. Printer go zoomies to them makes it immediately better, except it's not. It's so disingenuous. Yeah, I agree. It sucks. I dislike it heavily. A lot of them were at least within range before, or like there was a parameter that could hit the marketing value, but with this, it's like 110 is insane. Okay, first layer is finally done. Just make sure, yeah, printing speed's at 260 and 105 for the bed, so we should be good. I would think within 15 minutes we'll be starting to see where it stops at. You can use it as a doorstop like the one I have here. If they can figure out the artifacts, I can see myself using this printer a fair bit. Because of how freaking loud it is, it's pretty much, it's probably gonna permanently live in the garage. But if I can figure out some kind of muffler for it and maybe relocate it so that way it's not pulling air from the outside, because that makes it, I mean, maybe not useless for ABS, but a hell of a lot more likely to warp parts when you're blasting it with a different temperature air. Plus it can't be good for the strength of it. With ABS, I mean, you want consistent temperatures so that way the interlayer adhesion is good, and if you're hitting it with cooler air, it's not going to help the layer bond with the previous layer. It was easier than I thought it would be, but yeah, meat is delicious. One of my buddies that I worked with at Matter Hackers was a meat eater, and me and him, I mean, he not only was he a meat eater, he got me into trying Arby's. Like, I never really had Arby's, and he's like, "Oh man, you gotta have Arby's." So like, he was really a meat eater, and then out of nowhere, I don't remember what his initial reasoning was for wanting to stop, but he was like, I think it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to go vegan." There was some reason, I don't remember what. I don't think it was a huge health thing, but he just decided he wanted to. And it's been I think like 4 years now, and he never went back. But it was just weird. I mean, one day we're eating carne asada tacos together, and the next day I'm like, he took me to a vegan restaurant in LA when we were doing like a team outing thing, and he got me these like wings that were like chicken wings that were vegan, and I gotta say, I was not a fan. I think that if I were to ever need to go vegan or go vegan, I don't know how much I would really go for like imitation stuff. Although I will say that like the Impossible or Beyond Meat, I've had those before in a burger and was actually pleasantly surprised. But some of the stuff that he used to get initially that was sort of like replacement meat, I would rather just avoid it and not pretend for a lot of the things. Okay, let me pull up the web interface here. Device. Okay, so we are, where are we at? Flow. We're at 46, 31, 37, 46. So we're at like 47. I'm just gonna wait until we see like an obvious like tear lines coming in. I'm way behind on chat again. Air fryer's rule, also it can go low. You can dehydrate stuff. Oh, that's really freaking cool. I don't know how low ours can go. I'll have to check though. But it's a nice looking machine. I can't say nothing about it. It's a really pretty machine. I mean, it feels and looks incredibly premium. And when I think I asked Aaron and my dad, who's seen a lot of 3D printers from all the years of me doing 3D printing stuff, what they thought the price was on it. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, both of them were like, you know, multiple thousands. So it doesn't feel like they cheaped out on hardware. Nero 3D flipped it inside the top. Yeah, I remember seeing him post that he modified it. I'm almost wondering, because I think CPAP is like a standard tube length. I would like to modify it in a way where I'm not actually, I think he damaged the frame on his, right? Like the housing. I'd like to fit, there's got to be a mod where there's some place I can relocate it that's not going to screw up the housing on it. One of the boys flipped the fan around and recirculated the air inside of it. Nero found a good solution for the CPAP. Oh, he found a good, was him flipping it helped with the noise, or did he do something else? My daughter and her family are vegetarians. When we visit them, we go with the flow. That's fair. I mean, I would also do the same thing. If I was going to visit someone that was vegetarian, then, you know, it's their house, their rules, whatever. Did your friend get a vegan girlfriend? That's a great question. He's engaged, actually. Yeah, he's engaged. I don't know when they're getting married, but I didn't ask that when I found out. I've never met her because we moved out of California before they started dating. But I'll have to ask him. Beyond Meat is really good. I agree. They really changed the imitation meat industry. I think it was Burger King that had sent out some, maybe it was Impossible, not Beyond, but whatever. They, you know, their version of it. And so I was like, yeah, shoot, I'll try it. And I think I told Aaron, like, if someone had handed me that burger and just said, oh, here's a hamburger from Burger King, I wouldn't have known. The only reason I knew was because, you know, I ordered it and it said it. But as far as flavor goes, like, it tasted as much of a meat burger as any burger I've had, which was really impressive. So we're at 53. It looks like I see my first sign of an issue, but we're gonna keep letting it run. I want it to get really ugly before I actually stop it. I'm now looking at air fryers. Hey, I should start. I need to put together, like, you know, you can put together like an affiliate store, but just of like my favorite food items. It would be really on brand. Yeah, he drilled it out. That's what I thought. Unless you prepare and cook vegan food from scratch, it's hilariously how unhealthy the pre-made vegan food is. What about it's unhealthy? Is just a lot of salts and stuff, or are we just died? They told me I had to become vegan.
I haven't had a vegan, I don't think I've had a vegan chicken sandwich or chicken burger. The only vegan chicken I remember having was at that restaurant we went to, and they were like chicken wings, and it was like the consistency of it just wasn't right. It didn't seem like chicken, and then the way like, I think they had like like a fake bone thing to it, and the way it popped off, it wasn't fooling me. It wasn't fooling me, man. I tried. I was like, I don't know. Well, we usually have food conversations, Micah, so this is not too far off from the usual one. Even though normally it's not vegan, but it's just a different angle on our normal conversation. That's because Burger King cooks the burgers on the griddle with all the grease from the regular Whoppers. That wouldn't surprise me. You should have increased the layer height and width more so speed isn't a limiting factor. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a bad idea, you know. I have to assume that's why it still hasn't failed. But we did have the acceleration set to 12K. According to this, it's at 62 cubic millimeters a second. I'm just curious to see. I would imagine that it still by 70-ish has to probably start looking pretty bad. We'll see. Oh yeah, no. With food talk, like we always get on some kind of food tangent. Aaron usually brings me. I mean, today's was yogurt parfait. So we got some blueberries, some apples, some oranges. It looks like. Vanilla yogurt and granola. But yeah, we always have food talk here. Olin Mamba stream. Come here to learn about 3D printers and get educated on vegan. Hey man, we keep you guessing. We keep you guessing here. Yeah, so other than that initial obvious line, I don't see too much other signs of. I don't see any gaps yet. According to this, we're at 65.3. Vegan chicken wings is just fried gluten with a dowel stick to the middle. Very similar to Chinese style vegetarian meat. If you're going vegan, then embrace and celebrate the vegetables. Don't mush them up and make them look like meat. Pizza. Do I still have the pizza? I do. Pizza time! Oh no, I don't. That's a different one. Sorry. Next week's Modbot, drop printing Impossible Burgers. They're free. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Oops, what did I do? Okay, there's another line. I feel like it has to start getting really crappy looking soon. It says we're at 71 cubic millimeters per second. You think, you know, it would have died sooner had I gone with a taller layer and thicker line? Part of the reason why I like doing 0.2 on these tests though is because that's typically what I'm printing at, is a 0.2 layer height. So it feels fairly realistic as to what I can expect, you know, with my normal printing parameters. 3D printing in food. This is a what do they call when it's oh gosh, what are those channels called? There's multiple things. Variety stream. Variety stream is what it is. I gotta get a grill cam. While waiting for the end impressions, you should open a kitchen style window. Done quite a bit of research in diets with dietitians. What it's clear as vegans 10 years ago, when our company did slide editing, and then now the general health of vegans has gone a lot worse. Gotcha. You're saying when vegan people are actually eating just like vegetables more so? Yep, at least from what I've seen from others testing. Gotcha. I'll have to do some testing of that myself. I will say I'm surprised that we're still going. I mean, we've got those 2 gaps, but it's gotten a hell of a lot higher than I was expecting. We're at 76. I mean, the part looks very sucked in, but it is also a single wall and very tall. Speed's definitely increasing to catch up. I mean, we're at every layer, it's getting 1 more millimeter per second, basically. So we're at 420. Nice. I'm kind of mind blown. I mean, I was expecting it to look way worse, way sooner than this. We're at just about 80 cubic millimeters a second. Hey, we got 103 likes. Thank you, everybody. If you have not hit the like button, see, let's just try to cross 110. That'll be our final goal. Calling it now, it's going to make it all the way. I don't see how it could make it all the way. Based off of everybody's tests, I don't see how it can make it all the way. Yeah, the test. This is based off of everything I've heard. This is sort of blowing my mind a little bit. I thought that once we hit like 50, we'd start to see some like jagged edges, and then by mid 50s, it would just look terrible. But I mean, we're at 84 cubic millimeters per second, and yeah, there's a few sections where there's a couple lines that don't look so great, but I mean, it's still laying down relatively consistently. What's the current layer height and width and the speed? So speed currently is at 455 455 millimeters per second. Acceleration seems like it's just pinned at 20K. We're at layer, that doesn't make sense. It says layer 400, that doesn't make no sense. It says layer 444 or 444. So that's weird. Somehow that's bugged. Flow says 86. Speed 463. Line width, I don't remember what we went with for line width. Let's see. I guess I could probably just download it, right? Just to make sure I'm doing the right thing. So machine, G-code files. I don't know where it downloaded to. I don't know where it downloaded to. Wait a minute. Layer height is 0.32? I thought it was at 0.2. No, I'm a little confused. According to this, it's 0.32, which is pretty damn wide. Those values are very wrong for some reason. 480 millimeters per second with 0.2, 0.4 is... And line width is like 0.63 for the full thing. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the deal is with the web interface. Like why it's showing such different numbers. Okay, it's starting to look like crap. It's looked like crap for a while. We could probably call it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, you know, with the, like, the layer height shows wrong. The flow seems right in correlation to it, but... So you're saying, is it right? And you know, if you do the math of, do you do 500 millimeters per second with a... Nope. Hold on. No. Here we go. Okay, so do 500 millimeters per second with a line width of 0.63, which is what it looks like. It could be a little bit higher than that, but do 0.63 and a layer height of 0.32. Okay, oh, you already did. That seems more accurate. With 0.32, with 0.62. Okay, queet. It's a queet. I don't know. I combined sweet and cool. Queet. Okay, I think it is accurate. I think the issue is I said wrong. I was under, because of the fact that it said 0.2 still under the side panel.
and I didn't check the actual, G code generated. That's why I said 0.2, when it definitely wasn't that. Oh, it errored out. What error did we get? Clog detected. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, it screwed up quite a while ago. But it still did a hell of a lot better than I was expecting. So let's go device, let's stop. Let me give it 1 second, or a minute to cool down. I want to bring a light really close for you guys so we can see. Let me see. Let me leave this kind of hanging out like that. Let's bring this light. So, one thing we have to remember is that this printer has artifacts on everything. So, I would say, let me find a little, like, here, please this blade. So, from here, where this is, there's a little cut here. This and up looks absolutely terrible. Basically, this height and up is just, I wouldn't even consider this, like, it's not even remotely usable. So let's just tear this off. Perfect. Okay, so that's gone. Now, I would say there's these lines, right? This is the, can you see that line? Yeah. So this was the first line that I noticed something seemed like it was starting to go bad or off. And then there's a second line. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it right here. This is a second obvious point. So I would say, based off what I'm seeing here, from the base up until this line would be what I consider, where's my fingers? There we go. Nope, this way. Good quality. And I say it like that because if it didn't have the artifacting, which is not related to the extrusion, it would be good quality. Like, the extrusion looks really, really consistent. So let me see. So what did I do? I want to get a gauge for what that actually. That's fine. Calibration, more, max flow. Okay, so we started at 40 and went up to 110. And each step is a half a step. So from 40, let's see, so let's say 40 and a half. So every 241 for 2. So I'm going to say pretty close to what other people have been getting. So it looks like up to right around 50, maybe just south of 50, but right around 50 would be what I would say is its sweet spot for optimal quality.
But then the next line, which is here, the difference from 50 to the next line, which, let me try again, let's see, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Approximately 60 range is still not bad. Up to 60 is still not bad. It's, I can clearly, in the light at least, see that there's some slight inconsistencies in surface quality, but it's still pretty stinking good. But once we get to this line and up, the quality is quite bad. From 60 and up, quality is quite bad. It's still not as bad as I was expecting, where there was going to be, like, I'm used to seeing pretty quickly there start to become holes in the actual perimeter, and we didn't get that. But there's, like, let me bring you guys down, because well, yeah, you can see it actually already from the angle, but try to make it a little bit more extreme. There you go. I think that does it. That paints a better picture, in my opinion, of what I'm seeing compared to what I was showing you guys. So yeah, so from base 40 to approximately 50 range, pretty clean, if it wasn't for those artifacts on the surface. From 50 to 60, there's definitely a degrading in quality, but it's really still not bad, and I can see that being perfectly acceptable for sort of like draft quality or things where they just don't need to be quite as pretty. But north of that, it's hard to consider this acceptable. It's quite bad. I mean, there's just a lot more artifacts. I would imagine that the interlayer adhesion is probably a lot easier to break apart. So I think that from what I'm seeing here, the realistic cap is around 60. But if you want best quality, it seems like 50 is probably the sweet spot. Maybe the CPAP is overcooling. That could be a possibility as well. I do know that that could be a possibility, Zombie. I didn't change anything. And I want to say that the ABS profile had cooling set to 50% possibly for this. Let me double check that. which would be high for ABS. Let's see. Oh, wow. Cooling could have played a factor in it then. So I thought it was 50% across the board, because that's how they had it in the FLSUN slicer. If you go under generic ABS, you go to here, and you go to cooling, they've got theirs set to 50% across the board from min to max. So the V400s is different. So it'd be interesting to see if I just set these to, I mean, lower. Let's say I go from 10% to 30%, how it would affect it. It definitely could have a wait, no, this is saying, hold on. If a layer is under 3 seconds, the speed experiment slow down, estimated time is shorter than, oh, if it's shorter than this value. So no, it's saying it only did 10%, right? Minimum threshold, no, I think I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's a range between these two values, dependent on where the time falls on here. Part cooling fan will be able to layers, but estimated time is shorter than this value. Yeah, so it's going to be on all layers less than 30 seconds. It's a minimum of 10%. And if it hits 3%, because I don't think it's 10% for anything that's 30% or less. What is it? Does anybody know? Zombie, I can't remember right now what it is. If it's, this isn't saying it's a hard 10% for 30 seconds and less, is it? And then it dumps from 10 to 80% for the 3 seconds or less layer. I would think it would have to be a range dependent on the seconds, where 10% would be the least amount it would do, but then it sort of, I would imagine, scales that linearly from 30 seconds down to 3 seconds for that full 80%. Doing 2 alls is better when doing a test with ABS because of the warping. Back in the Wednesday meeting, that's not a very encouraging result. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure. Okay. I could probably test it if I did it. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be able to see whether it just jumped from 10 to 80% quickly versus, I always set fan speeds the same. Okay. I should run a print just for fun, just to see, because I would be able to tell if it jumped from 10 to 80 versus climbed, because that would be such a dramatic, especially with the CPAP, such a dramatic difference. Okay, that's what I thought. Nuno says it ranges between 10 to 80%. That makes a lot more sense to me, because having just two values, like, hey, we're only at 10 or only at 80, for CPAP you can't really vary the speed because of the delay. You mean the delay in the air traveling from up top to down below? That basically there's a lag. So even if it were to slow down, some of that would still be hitting with the full speed. So I will say though that based off of this, regardless of whether I lower airspeed and do 2 layers, I don't see this getting anywhere near 110. I mean, we basically got up to 50 good, up to 60 meh, passable. So I would be shocked to see anything above a 70. But it could be cool to rerun this with 2, like you said, basically CPAP on less air. And then 2 walls, just because there is definitely warping. You can see it. Can you see it? No, you can't, because I'm still showing you guys the freaking desktop. You can see the warping, like if you go from the side on this. Nope. My view of what you guys see is heavily blocked today by the FLSUN and this light. Let me turn it at an angle. There you go. There you go. You can see, like, I mean, this is supposed to be a solid wall, and it's got a huge bow to it from the warping. You almost need to set a delay in the G-code when cooling. Might be something worth looking into. So that's what we got. I've just started testing CPAP, but it's so loud that I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I know you hooked up the turbo from Big Tree Tech, which I also have one of, which I'm probably gonna pair with a I'm probably going to pair it with one of the archetype tool heads at some point. But yeah, it's freaking loud. It's very, very loud. I've had the VZ-Bot one for quite a long time now, and even running that at lower speeds, it's still really loud, even with the muffler on it. Why not use a hyper PLA for this test, or other materials will have other issues than just flow rate? We could do a hyper PLA test, I suppose. I mean, I do feel like that's a really limited filament, you know, compared to other options. I would imagine, although PLA typically doesn't have as high of a flow rate, that the hyper PLA would have an increased flow rate. So we could, I think we're gonna call it for today. I mean, we're at 3 hours and 10 minutes, and I wanted to do a little bit shorter of a stream. I think my sister-in-law is taking off in about an hour for the airport, so we'll call it here. I don't know. Next week's stream, my plan was to start the MMU3, but I need to print out a bunch of parts, and the X1 Carbon needs a new bed cable. And I've been procrastinating on doing that, so I'm thinking about possibly doing another, I don't know, it won't really be a print and chill stream because I'll be tearing apart the X1 Carbon, but I'm thinking maybe next week we'll do that. These sort of like side quest hangout streams always seem to be a lot of fun, and the feedback I get is always really good on them, so that might be what we do next week. But I've had this thing for months, and so if there's interest in us running, like doing another stream in, I don't know, a few weeks time, or maybe a little bit longer once we're done with MMU3, I'm not against that, and we could try the hyper PLA and see. And the reason why it might be worth doing that, another follow-up stream to this, is if what they had told me initially that there was going to be 2 big updates coming in the next month, and I've had this one, and based off of the information that Dutch Dude got, if they have actually figured out a way to reduce or remove the artifacts, the VFAs that we're seeing from these closed loop, to me that would be worth another stream to update, the printer and actually take a look for ourselves. And maybe that would be the one where we'll run the max flow rate and hyper PLA. Max flow rate and hyper, yeah, that's right. So yeah, fix and chill. What were the numbers they tell you on their site? 110 cubic millimeters a second. 110 cubic millimeters a second max flow rate. That's what they tell you on their website, which is just bonkers. It's so crazy. You need a desktop boring off behind you. Which one? This one? This one I just printed with. It needs some more stuff. Like I'm kind of sad. So I installed the Nighthawk into it, but I want to get rid of the Z cable chain as well. and I also want to install a nozzle camera into it for an upcoming video, but it won't work with the PG7 glands that I have, so I'm not exactly sure. I'm debating on removing the PG7 glands, or I think that's what they're called. Yeah, PG7 glands, and just going with the wires with maybe a zip tie and like an outer mesh to it or something like that. I'm just not sure. But the V0 does need to get dusted off. I also have a few more. There was supposed to be one more video done on it with a few last mods, so there's too much stuff going on. Personally, if you're looking for the highest flow rate, I would pick a material suited for that test. Yeah. I suppose so. I mean, ABS generally does have a higher flow, but since we basically have at least a rough idea off of the standard test, I'm not against doing the next one in Hyper PLA. Ideally, I'd like to get Hyper PLA in a color that's not white though. White is so freaking difficult to see imperfections and stuff. So maybe what I'll do is I'll see if FLSUN either sells it in a different color, or if not, maybe I won't go with them and I'll just get like Polymaker has their high-speed material that I haven't actually printed with. So maybe we'll do that, and I'll just get it in a color where we can actually see where the artifacts start or under extrusion and stuff like that. Nozzle 100 millimeters. Yeah, exactly. Have you seen the video where the guy builds a 3D printer with a grill? Yeah, that's proper printing, right? Yep. I typed slightly faster. Okay, well, I think we're gonna call it for today. It was fun. It was nice to just kind of like poke at this and have a pretty laid back stream after all the other stuff. Jason sent over the replacement board and touch probe for the Milo, so ideally I'd like to get that up and running. I'm probably just gonna do it on my own off stream, and then I need to contact Alan over on Mandic Relay's channel to see what his thoughts are on when we want to do a final stream on that. We're supposed to be doing like a hangout. I don't know. I don't think he's done with his yet. I know he's just getting set up in his new place in Oregon. And then I got a bunch of messages from the creator of the Positron Journey Maker regarding the issues I was having. So I need to read through all of them and order some of the parts to see if we can get the motion system working on that. So a lot of stuff. Always a lot of stuff. ASA should flow incredibly well as well. Yeah. Depends on the delay. Fun stream. Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time. It was fun to finally take this out and take a crack at it because I had never done a flow rate test, and I was really curious to see, what sort of things have changed with the firmware. And I mean, it looks like the changelog has some good things in it, but based off the testing we did right now, I didn't get to see a whole lot of the changes. So we'll see. Anyways, thank you all as always for hanging out. It was our last Wednesday. Next time I see you guys, it'll be August. Congratulations to our winner. I will contact you this evening with the giveaway form. Thank you everyone that participated, and for all the likes, chats, new members, the existing members, and any gifted members. It is always appreciated and definitely helps out with just getting stuff in for the channel and keeping things going. So it was fun to watch as I fight kinematic stuff with my Deltas from 2018. Oh, jeez. My concern is that ABS and ASA will have other issues. Gotcha. I get what you're saying. Like flow rate stuff and warping and things, or warping, I guess, would be one of those things, right? So, all right, everyone. Also, I don't think there probably won't be a video this Saturday because I was gone. I was gone Thursday through Monday. I lost half of a week, so I've got videos in the works, but I don't want to rush them just for the sake of getting it out. So there probably won't be a video this weekend, but we'll be back to a regular scheduled broadcast next week. So, all right, everyone, have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. Tor, good luck with the air fryer shopping, and